I'll go ahead and back out of this. I think we're good. Okay, so yeah. All right then, here we go. Well, weep, grog, now weep, nitty bong, my fellow addicts. It's TFA 1024, the TF addict here, along with my very good buddy and longtime co-admin.
Me, yeah, Cyberraptor. What's up, everyone? Hey!
We're back. This is episode 74 of the long overdue and long almost forgotten podcast series called Transformers Thought Corner, TFTC to you and me. And yeah, we're talking about Siege. I'm pretty excited about this episode. First off, I'm really glad that things are actually able to be back now. Like, we're actually able to bring this whole thing back. I thought when Google Hangouts was gone, like, this is it. I thought we would never be able to do this again. So again, a huge shout out once again to my buddy Crimson Raptors on Instagram for telling me about StreamYard. If it was not for him, this whole thing would not be possible. I do apologize for the delay. A couple things came up, and Cyborg and I were also catching up a little bit. I will personally say that. So I know some people were waiting. I do apologize, but we're here now. And if you happen to miss out, then feel free to just rewatch it later, because that's what TFTC is all about. Before we begin, I already did mention this in the comment section. There will be spoilers, so please watch at your own risk. This is just the full-on review. There's no spoiler review. There is no spoiler review. It's literally just going to be, we're talking about everything about Siege, no matter how spoiler-filled, no matter how non-spoiler-filled. It doesn't matter, so we're just going to go right into it. We would have more people here, but I figure since it's the first comeback episode, might as well just, for old time's sake. So yeah, not necessarily sure how to start this, but
I mean, let's see. Like, do you want to do this? How do you want to organize this? Do you want to go by episode, or just by characters or events? You want to just do chaotically?
I feel if we're gonna do it, try to maybe try to mix in elements. So like we'll go by episode, and then we'll touch on characters in that episode, and then when we do the next episode, we'll touch on how they improved or how they.
Yeah, I think
like
I'll go ahead and
evolve, I suppose.
All the episodes too, just so I can.
Yeah.
So. I mean, each episode also has like some elements that are good and bad, so I think that's probably the best way to do it.
Yeah, for sure. So, real quick. I want to point this out. I'm gonna keep this. I want to point this. Not trying to point. I can't talk. I swear to God, I can talk. I'm English. I know. Hold on. Oh, that's cool. I never knew if you had caps lock on and you shifted, you could actually like have lowercase. That's cool. I'm going to put this right here, and we're also going to...
There we go.
Yeah, so there's your spoiler warning. If you don't like it, tough. Sorry. Anyway. So, yeah. Episode 1.
First off, the episode starts with a great homage. As for those who know Transformers, and especially you probably know, is that it starts with two Autobots, Bumblebee and Wheeljack, evading Seekers and are on a mission, which is exactly the same way the '80s episode started. So that's already, or immediately I was like, hell yeah, good fucking start. That's a cool way to bring it in.
Yeah, I instantly caught on to that like the moment it started. Like I very much like the whole overhead type perspective of like the Seekers flying through the sky, like through like within Cybertron's airspace and everything. You get like a nice overhead of the environment, and right off the bat, the animation is, first off, it's done by Polygon Studios. As if you had to have any doubt, it would look good.
Mm-hmm. This
is like the best looking Transformers show we've ever gotten. Like honestly, I think it looks really freaking cool. I think they did such a good job with the animation. I personally feel as though the first line dialogue... crap, I screwed up the comment. I feel like the very first line of dialogue is going to be... it was kind of like iffy, to be honest. Like, I find it funny that the whole episode shows off like, oops, sorry. Like with Wheeljack, he like trips on his own, he like trips on something, and then all of a sudden it's just like, oops, sorry, and then But it is cool. We get to see like Bumblebee and Wheeljack start off the episode. No Cybertronian modes for them, unfortunately. That's fine. That's all well and good, But it's just little G1 references like that. And I'm not a G1 fan per se. Like I didn't grow up with them personally, but the fact that they just threw that in there for like the G1 fans, it's like here's a bone, enjoy. I thought that was really cool. First Decepticon, I thought seeing Skywarp was very nice. It wasn't Hotlink, it wasn't Sunstorm, it wasn't Nova Storm. I thought it was nice to see Skywarp. He didn't do much, but he was there. I think he was cool. But then when we started getting into like actual character, like we all thought, oh, Bumblebee's gonna be, he's here, he's gonna be an Autobot. No, it's like here's a twist. Bumblebee isn't an Autobot. He's a non-affiliate Energon scavenger. I thought that was kind of neat.
Yeah, I also think I love that Bumblebee isn't you don't see when we see him, he isn't just like the cute and friendly friends to all, let's be happy-go-lucky,
let's go on an adventure.
Exactly, yeah. He's like Wheeljack, you don't fuck this up, Wheeljack. We gotta do this mission, like we gotta do it hard, like it's he's like, I don't care about you guys, I don't care about them, you paid me, I'm doing a job, whatever. And like he's a at first he's a kind of a little dickbag, and it's kind of like it's an interesting taste, especially since like having Bumblebee being the face of the Transformers for the past 2 years with its own movie and everything. It's kind of funny to have you bring that character back and he's a complete asshole from the beginning, and it's like that's an interesting take, really.
Yep,
I enjoy it. Also, Bumblebee, and then with a character later on, Alita 1. It's very obvious that these two look a little cleaner than everyone else, because everyone else is obviously based off toys, but Alita and Bumblebee are based off comic, and so they have there's no random circles and lines that make up they're trying to be hard to detail stuff like the toys. Like everyone's covered in peg holes and imports, and you can tell they're all based off the toys, but since these two have no toys when they were making the show, they're very clean, very like simple design. Same with RC later on. It's very weird to see. Like you can tell that he seems a little bit out of place when he's surrounded by all the toys that are released at this point. It's kind of distracting for a second, but it's just interesting to take note of.
Adding like those little details like that with the nubbins and everything was kind of funny, but it's like it instantly.
Ooh, you're volume
breaking up. I know it's my phone.
Yeah.
Sorry. Always a problem. I was trying to set up my phone because it was about to die. I find it funny that like they had all the little nubbins and everything, and like instantly I was getting like flashbacks to the whole like Newgrounds animation from Revenge of the Fallen called Revenge of the Lowland. Where it's it's like Transformers, da 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 da, buy the toys, because they're literally shoving it in our face. It's like, yeah, these are the toy models. We get it.
Yeah, we haven't had a show do this actually.
We haven't had like a show do this since like the Unicron trilogy.
Yeah, I was gonna say Transformers Cybertron, which is funny that I've just recently watched all of that.
Which we were talking about.
Yeah, we were talking about that. I binged the entire show of that before watching this one. It's kind of funny that that's bridged because that the same thing back then is that the show's character models for the Transformers were all completely based off toys, and here we are again doing that. But this is now, 20 years have passed, and 15 years have passed, and the age of technology and film and animation have totally improved. So now you can have Optimus Prime look like the toy, but yet he still moves as fluent as a normal, a non-toy based Transformer could do.
Yeah. I love when cartoons or animes do that in general. Like I grew up with Transformers Armada. I've told the story numerous times, but I just love the fact that like they went exactly off like the models of the toys and everything, and they kind of put their own spin on it. But like seeing this happen with Siege, I thought that was like pretty freaking cool to see. So I mean, it was neat. It was very much interesting to see this actually work out for what it did. And it honestly does want me to buy a couple more figures. Like I'm excited for that Netflix Bumblebee that they showed, which I did talk about on Instagram, by the way, that Instagram.com/TFA1024. Because I did like TFTC extras and everything there, and that Bumblebee, the model for Bumblebee looks really good, and then the toy reflects that pretty well, but not exactly in the same style.
Yeah.
You know, but continuing on with it, it's like, yeah, our main cast is established so far. We have Wheeljack and Bumblebee, a non-affiliate Bumblebee. We have Wheeljack, who's an Autobot. They're surrounded by Seekers. Starscream shows up along with Skywarp, Thundercracker, so on and so forth. But not only that, returning voice actor Frank Turtardo comes back as Starscream. And I thought, this dude's. I talked about this on Instagram. I really like how Chris Latta-ish this guy sounds as Starscream. I think he's done a really, really good job as Starscream. Like, he definitely one of my all-time favorite voice actors for Starscream now. Like, obviously next to Steve Bloom and Michael Dobson, Charlie Adler, but
I think he does good. It's like you said, it is very, very much Chris Latta, and I'm guessing that's what they told him to do. And as you said, this is not the first time we've heard him before. If he's a veteran from the previous the previous DeSanto collaboration with the Prime Wars trilogy with that previous toy line, and he wasn't that bad in that show either. It's not bad that he came back. He did the job well.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely came a long way from the Machinima Prime Wars trilogy to this.
For sure.
Because I feel like his voice acting has definitely improved, and I'm really glad that he's still Starscream. Like, I kind of hope he's a go-to Starscream voice actor now, even if he's like union or non-union. I think they made a wise choice for Starscream. I felt bad for him at the beginning though, because it's like when Jetfire shows up, it's like, oh, I'm gonna cut off your arm because I can, and it's like, well, I can already tell where Starscream's gonna be placed in this.
Yeah, actually, speaking of Jetfire being the leader of the Seekers, I think that's a very interesting way to do it. Because like it does kind of make sense of like, before all this, like why was Starscream commander of Seekers? Like if he looks just like everyone else, like what makes him so special? So in this way, it's kind of like, yeah, in the beginning, Starscream is just one of the Seekers that who the Seekers are just that army building toy you can get to fill your ranks. And so to have that, like it, I kind of like that, the commander is actually a different dude and he looks different and he's a bigger version of like everyone. He's like, whatever. And then it will, with the eventual, betrayal and he leaves the team and Starscream's the leader, as we all classically know, it makes sense to us because we know Transformers so well. But it visually or just content-wise, it makes sense. Like, oh yeah, Starscream literally he's just a Seeker. Of course, because he's just like everyone else. I actually kind of like the idea of like that is, he's just one of the small dudes, and now he's Starscream we know, later on.
Yeah, definitely. I also like the fact that they refer to him as Commander. Like, joke, he's Commander class. Get it?
Oh yes, I didn't think about that actually. That's great.
I thought about it not too long ago, like not within the recent few minutes. I was just thinking about the whole show. It's like he's constantly called Commander, and then I glance over at my toy. I'm like, oh, that's why.
Which actually,
but also because it's a literal military position. So
speaking of Commander, the Commander class toy, no Jetfire like big boy parts. The like the Macross, like the helmet and like the additional just armor that the toy has. That's actually for a show that's selling toys. I'm actually surprised they didn't implement that to Jetfire at some point.
Oh yeah, same. I was kind of hoping. We'd see some of that, like as like a battle protocol type thing. Like he actually like battles up. But like the one thing I do like about this that's very different, and I kind of wish they would have delayed the toy for this. I like that Energon blade he has.
Yeah, that's that
was cool.
Really cool. Yeah, for sure. Some third-party company will give you a
Shockwave's lab is already on it.
Oh yeah, for sure. And like speaking of characters that are getting upgrades that the toys have, but in the show they don't. I'll mention a lot more because there's a lot of times where I'm like, I was hoping they did it in the toy, but they didn't in the show. But yeah. we get to that. We'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Yeah, I so far I'm really just I'm liking the secret. Again, I wish I'd Starscream because I kind of wasn't like the butt of the joke for this type deal, but like he does at least get character, like more so than like I'm evil. I want to take like no, like I want to be leader of the Decepticons. It's literally I want to be leader of the Seekers. Like that's different. That was a nice change.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think like it's actually kind of cool to see that because yeah, like as you said, like he's not whiny either, as we know he will become.
No, he's pretty damn competent too.
Yeah. It's actually I kind of like enjoy it because if they made him whiny, then I think they would just make him not likable. So I think having Starscream like he seems a little bit like you can tell he wants that job of like being the commander, but he's just trying to find his opening, and later in the show we see that he gets that. But it is nice to see, the Starscream is not some shriveling you can tell he's a little cunning, but like not to the point where like that's all his characters like I'll wait for my chance. So yeah, it's cool. He's still a soldier. Like he takes commands if he doesn't like it, and I can't wait to see how that will evolve in the next season.
Plus, he's not too much of like a sniveling coward. He's rarely a sniveling coward actually. When there's a challenge,
he doesn't show his cowardness side at all in this series yet.
Yeah, I definitely like the Starscream a lot more than past incarnations. So, but yeah, I mean, obviously our heroes are trapped. Well, our hero, I can't really call Bumblebee a hero yet.
Not yet.
But obviously our hero Wheeljack is trapped with Bumblebee. Seekers are about to take him down, kind of, until we see the screen shake a little bit. We hear some footsteps. The maniacal Megatron has arrived, and I think his reveal was honestly pretty badass. Like, that kind of screamed anime evil villain to me. But that's just me personally.
Yeah. Have like the shot of the cannon, the shot of the Decepticon symbol, and then
Decepticon
his face.
symbol, and then I thought that was really fucking cool how they did that. And once again, Jason Marnocha, I think is what his name is. The dude who voiced Megatron again in the Prime Wars trilogy, because there are a couple of repeat offenders and carrying over from there to this. His delivery for lines are kind of iffy here and there. Like, I think he did good in about 75% of the time, and like the other 25% is just like kind of bad, I do like the one line specifically from him where he's like, "I don't care what you want." I'm like, that's a pretty good line for Megatron. It's like we never really heard him say anything like that before. It's very basic, but it's like it gets the message across. Like, he's talking about like, you're desperate, taking risks. We need to touch their minds and their sparks. I'm like, where is this Megatron coming from? Like, why haven't we seen this one?
Because that's one of the things. One like gripes with the show is that you can tell like there's a history behind like not just Megatron, but then later Optimus and Ultra Magnus. Like they have a history. It's something that like they'll only get that through mentions. They'll probably never show it for flashbacks. But like like you can tell that this Megatron for sure. Like he wasn't always a bad guy, and through twists and like from starting small and he mentions the gladiatorial arena and working in the pits and
IDW callback.
Exactly, which I think I'm also for IDW because that's now pretty much the established like Megatron background. So it's kind of cool to have that. And like, but this, like, I think with this, they're kind of twisting this with kind of like more of a like the IDW / movies, because the movies kind of touch about like tiny bit where like Optimus and Megatron were pretty much like partners, brothers, and because of their their differences on their ideologies, they've twisted again, become enemies, and there's more of that. They mentioned a lot of for this episode and like for this episode forward, a lot of mentions of Alpha Trion. Like Alpha Trion must he from what it looks like he was the teacher, and they were the students, and with him being gone, that's what pretty much caused the crack between to be like these two factions that are now arisen. caused so much war.
Yeah, he definitely seemed like he was going to be pretty prominent, like kind of like a plot device ish, but like also, I don't know. It is what it is. I mean,
Right.
So, yeah, there was a lot to take in on the first episode, though. But like,
yeah, I guess we're just taking this first episode to because whenever it's introduced, it's like, oh, there's this character. Let's talk about this character. Like, we don't need to go through every single scene that happens in every single episode. But
no, not at all. But yeah, so Wheeljack and Bumblebee are about to be executed rather, and I also like the fact that like Megatron's just like flat up, execute them. And it's like, I like the hesitance that Jetfire has. Like you hear it, like he's like, Lord, or like Sir. I can't remember if he said Sir or Lord Megatron, but I just like that hesitation he has. And then he's like, okay, well, you gave me an order. I don't have a choice. Otherwise, you're going to kill me. Seekers at the ready. And then they're about to do like the whole like the firing squad type execution, which I love because that's a classic. And then we just see Optimus, and he's, he's pretty cool in that. I will admit though, and I'm going to talk about this briefly. The animation is not flawless. Because in that driving scene where you see Optimus jump off the ramp and he's like driving on the road, as soon as he starts getting farther away, you start seeing him like become choppy as shit.
Mm-hmm.
It's not great, but when he does show up, and it's exactly how you see in the trailer, headlights flashes from a jump, he starts taking out Seekers. Jake Fushi's first impression as Optimus Prime in the series honestly kind of had me shocked. I like his line delivery, the first line you hear from him, where he's just like, let them go. I'm like, okay, we're definitely getting a different take of Optimus here. And then, obviously battles ensue. Even a battle within the ranks. We actually get to see like Starscream and Jetfire and the Seekers duke it out. And it's like, that's pretty cool. Very interesting to see a little bit of infighting. So, I mean, it is for what it is. I definitely think that like when it came to all that, I thought the action was pretty well executed for the most part. I kind of wish we got to see more of the Seeker fight though, because it's like we saw a few of them throw a punch, maybe a kick, and then we see Jetfire deflecting it and such. And then instantly we just cut to, Wheeljack and Bumblebee are about to run away, but nope, they get stopped. And once again, but then we get our first Megatron and Optimus battle, and it's like it's not bad, but like Optimus got his ass handed to him.
Yeah, I also like talk about Optimus. Personally, I don't like Optimus in this series so far. Like the voice is okay at times, and that's like I'm being very nice about that when I say that. Like it's when Optimus Prime yells, I actually get cringed because it doesn't sound right when he's inflecting that loud with Optimus. It sounds like it's some teenager doing an impression, and it's just like it's. I don't know.
I mean, pretty much summed up the voice actor as a whole in that point.
Huh?
You pretty much summed up the voice actor at that point.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know how old this guy is. I don't know like anything about this guy, but like it's. I feel like he could have done better, and like because this is not his first Optimus either. He's the Optimus in Cyberverse, and I think I think he actually does. I think he does a better job in Cyberverse. He does in this one. I think he's trying to emote more in the show because he's very monotone in Cyberverse. But I think when he's monotone, that's when his inflection, his impersonation is as best. I'm not saying it's a good impersonation. I'm just saying it's best when he is just monotone and low. When he's trying to get more emotion and more loud, that's when it starts to break. And it kind of becomes his own thing. Which honestly, you should make it your own thing. But you can tell he's still just trying to do an impersonation of Peter Cullen. But like it just doesn't
we have
sound
some
right.
dirt to talk about that.
It's Optimus' character alone, like he seems young in this. Like I don't know if that's what it was meant to be or if that's just what ended up turning out to be. Like he does, because also throughout this entire series, Optimus is extremely arrogant, and he makes
not to mention ridiculously optimistic.
Yeah, ridiculously optimistic is probably the best way to describe it, because he throws his entire team into scenarios, and it's not like it's pretty much it goes like this throughout like 3 or 4 times in the series. It goes, Optimus does a plan. Everyone else just says, no, that's a really bad idea. He says,
Too
well,
bad, we're doing it anyway.
freedom, optimism, let's do it anyway. And they're all like, well, we don't want you to die, so I guess we're going with you. And so it's just the Autobots, are going there.
It feels like they're babysitting him.
Pretty much, especially Lita 1. God, Lita 1 has to fucking deal with this guy, and they're dating, and God, which I think Lita 1 is kind of like, it's very similar to the audience, because like you're kind of like, Optimus, you don't have to do this. He's like, no, we have to do this. Like,
no, freedom, justice, it's good.
Yeah, like war is bad. Like Cybertron needs freedom, and just like, yeah, I know. I hear.
I know we're kind of getting a little ahead of ourselves, but you said we're not talking about like every scene in the episode. But I love the first interaction with Alita 1 and Optimus.
Yeah,
like, she's immediately like the wife kind of character. I love I swear, one of these days, Optimus Prime, you're gonna forget it. And I'm like, oh, that's perfect banter, man. I love it.
I don't know why do they need to make the girl transformer? Like, she does like the hip bend where she bends all one side, and like I said earlier, like since she's not based on a toy yet, her whole figure is very clean. There's no battle marks. There's no fake robot decorations like everyone else kind of has. It's all just like, it's very clean metal and curvy. I'm like, it's just kind of weird, like that, because like, oh, she's the girl, so she has to look very feminine and very sexualized. Because I was watching it, my first time watching it, it was kind of hard to focus because I was with a bunch of friends. We like to talk over it, and everyone pointed out like, wait, do the Transformers need breasts? Is that a natural thing? They all look at me because all my friends don't care about Transformers, but they want to watch it with me, and I couldn't give them an answer. I'm like, I don't like. The answer was, it's boobs because people like boobs, but the natural answer is that I can't give you one because it doesn't exist. So it was I don't know. It's like it was cool to have Alita 1, because that's a rare character to have in the show.
Yeah, she's rarely in like anything, and it was nice to see her actually make a comeback since like Transformers animated.
Yeah, and like it. I also like this is one of the characters where you don't need to completely make her just like G1, like she, and
you don't even need to know her full backstory. It's just like you just need to know that she's like the partner of Optimus Prime, and she's apparently now a military strategist, which is like kind of cool.
Yeah, since we're using this episodes to gateway into talking to characters, and since we're all talking about spoilers, I will say this is a theory, but I actually think, because like throughout the entire series, Alita 1 is just not real. Like, she can tell that Optimus is not really listening to her, and she's kind of getting a little peeved about it every time it happens. I will not be surprised if we see her. We don't see her for season 2, but we do see her for season 3, and she's Black Arachnia.
Oh, dude, that'd be sick.
That'd be a good twist for.
It'd be a nice animated reference too.
Exactly. I would not be surprised if screw you, Optimus. Like, I'm stuck on Cybertron, covered by Decepticons. It's, I can see like they twisted my view to be like, why were you a good leader? Because honestly, throughout the show, Optimus Prime has not been showing good signs of leadership. Because he doesn't.
Really. If anything, Megatron kind of has been doing a little bit better.
If anything, it's funny, like the Decepticons, every scene with Decepticons, that whole team is done great. Shockwave acts like Shockwave, Soundwave is Soundwave. Everyone is doing great on that side. It's literally the Autobots where I'm like, I don't like, if any of the Autobots died in any of the episodes, I wouldn't have cared. It sucks because like that's our cast of heroes. That's the people we're following.
Yeah.
Like if Hound dropped dead, I would have been like, oh dang. But I wouldn't have been like, oh no, Hound. Which I feel like whoever voiced Hound, I bet the voice director was just like, can you do the best John Goodman impression?
I was about to say that same thing, because that's basically what Hound is now. It's like, oh, no more happy-go-lucky, I love planet Earth, I want to be a human Hound. It's just like, oh, war, guns, testosterone.
Yeah, exactly. Someone in the comments, CJ made a good point that Ironhide and Hound's voices were switched because Ironhide's voice was not what it should have been.
I don't know. I'm one of those type of people to accept change for what it is. I don't always have to like it, but I accept what it is when it comes to this, because it's like nothing is ever going to stay true to the source material ever. Like, it's always, Transformers are all about change, no matter what it is, no matter what type of media. They're always willing to try something different and experiment. And it's like, The Ironhide voice for this specific series, I think they did fine. Granted, it did kind of sound like a young Rick Sanchez at a couple points, because I just couldn't help but hear Rick from Rick and Morty for some reason. But I like the fact that he's just like this basic, generic sounding dude who also happens to be like the Autobots' muscle, but at the same time, he's like a regular army guy, you know. But I think I think it's a nice change. I think it's something different. He doesn't have to have the whole like. He doesn't have to have a southern twang. He doesn't need the movie voice. He also doesn't need like the. I mean, that's basically all the Ironhide voices he got, really.
I mean, which is actually,
but you don't need those. It's just like this is something different. This is something new, and for me personally, it worked.
Yeah, like if anything, this is a good point. Where like that's pretty much most of the characters in the show are kind of like their voices are their own in this one compared to the other franchises. Like there's like really no one's besides Optimus, and I think really that's it. Everyone else's voices are kind of like you can just do what you want. Like Ratchet does sound like Ratchet, Hound like Hound. Like really, it's like everyone kind of had their own kind of. I guess besides Soundwave, that's one of those characters where you kind of have to do like the voice coder and the filter at the end with that one.
The fucking vocoder on Soundwave bothered the crap out of me.
Yeah, it was actually there was a time where I had to rewind and put on subtitles just to get that to understand what he was saying. Same with I guess the not Alpha Trion, the Alpha Trion protocol, the impersonification of him. That was something I don't know why, but I couldn't understand that guy. So I had to watch subtitles in that scene too. Yeah, there's for sure some
I had subtitles on the whole way because I knew they were going to be.
Yeah, I sometimes
I was just gonna say I had to have subtitles on the whole time just because it's like I knew I wasn't going to be able to understand a lot of things, and I mean it's just good to have them on anyway.
Well, for sure. So part of me feels like I should have helped me comprehend the story, but I also like I feel like if I put on subtitles, I'm going to end up focusing my eyes near the bottom of the screen for the entire show. I don't want to do that.
Right.
Like for but yeah, that's I will say like for voices in general, they for me were from like meh to like I don't think there was really any voice I was like fuck yeah, like that's good shit. It's like yeah, they were all kind of basic. There was nothing.
I don't know. I was kind of the opposite.
That's fine.
There's a little bit of there's a little bit of a delay. I'm noticing it's kind of coming in and out, but it's fixing itself, so that's good.
Okay, good.
But yeah, I was kind of the opposite when it came to like some of those voices because like some of them that I heard, I'm like, yeah, I can get behind this. Like Lindsay Rosaru, the chick who voices Alita 1. I thought she did a really good job as Alita. Like there were definitely moments where she too had her own like Tiberius. Like Captain Tiberius Kirk from Star Trek, like those pauses. Oh, and it seems like everyone has that, unfortunately, in this show. But like, it varies. But still, it's just like I don't know if it's because they're like, well, we need to bide for time, or we're trying to be edgy and we're trying to show emotion. It's like you don't need to do that.
Yeah, at all. I totally think it was
like a lot of that kind of bothered me.
Yeah, I think they're like, if we do that, then maybe people will be like, it pretty much. Oh God, how do you describe this? It pretty much like yeah, it's trying to be edgy. Like if we do this, and then we do this, then maybe we might sound serious. Let's do it.
You'll understand the depth of the situation.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's it wasn't. That's not necessary.
It works for what it is, I suppose, but it's stupid. Yeah. Yeah. I will say one character that constantly bothered me with that normally was Shockwave. He did that every single time he was on screen. He always talked so fucking slow. I'm like, you're not an idiot. Hello?
Yeah, you kind of cut out there. You good?
Again?
Yeah, I mean, just a quick second near the end there.
Weird. Well, it might have been a peak or something. I don't know. But like every time Shockwave talked, I got angry because it's like, just please talk normally. For God's sake, this is driving me nuts.
Oh yeah, for sure. Same with I think I caught Ratchet caught me with that one. Like there's a lot like especially when Ratchet is when he discovers that the Allspark is like the MacGuffin, and he's just like, whatever we do is, and within our being, we have to go find the Allspark, or else we'll all, this all will go down. Like it, I feel like, Ratchet is very much also as well a victim to that as well. Blah, blah, blah.
But there were definitely like a lot of voice highlights in this. I mean, for real, like in terms of like vocal performance, first off, I'm really glad that Miles Luna was not the only voice actor from Rooster Teeth to be part of this. And for the next 2 installments, I hope they get more voice actors, like Aaron Zach, Lindsay Jones, Barbara Dunkelman, the Ruby cast as the females, if that is possible. God, I would love to hear what one of them could do as Black Arachnia when Kingdom comes around. But like a couple of the voice acts that like stood out for me personally was like Grey Haddock as Spinister. I loved how like literal, pun intended, I love how sinister Spinister sounded. He sounded so cool. I think they did a great job as him. Or he did a great job as Spinister. I just wish he pronounced his name correctly, because it's not Spinster, it's Spinister. But whatever.
Surprised they didn't like fix that. I feel like they would have said like, oh.
Well, I said on the Instagram live stream, it's like you need to re-listen to your lines.
Yeah, because like it's not like they don't go like, all right, first cut, that's it, let's do it. They probably did it multiple times, and that's the thing. Like, I mean, even the voice director just like, that's his name, right? Oh, whatever, just go for it. And then they just kept saying it as Spinster. So yeah, that's kind of sucks.
It was cool to see them, like, if we're talking about character appearances, or at least like character appearances for their first US debut, to see Spinister in an actual cartoon, even if he was just kind of there to be like cannon fodder or to be like a temporary bad guy, that's still a big deal in the realm of Transformers. Like, he was never in a cartoon. He was in the comics, sure, that's fine. He was never in the actual cartoon. Skytread, formerly known as Flywheels, actually showing up in the cartoon. We knew that was going to happen. We saw the trailers. But that was pretty cool. Again, first character US debut. Couple other characters, and I'm trying to think at the moment.
One that really bothers me because of just the way they done it that I wasn't really the biggest fan of was this is Impactor's first visual video media debut, and it's not the strongest one in my opinion. In my review I did a little bit in my Instagram post. I'll re-quote it here. It's like he went from a goon to a simp to dead. And it's like, it sucks because that's, wreck and rule, more like heckin' fool. But I
was about to reference that too, and I still love that.
It's because I don't know, because that's like Impactor in the comics is known as like he's the leader of the Wreckers, and I was like, oh shit, they're gonna show how Impactor goes from Khan to joining the Autobots probably, and then maybe we might see seeds of like, hey, you should lead like a fucking cool group of dudes. He's like, yeah, I will do that actually. My hand's a hook. It'll be awesome. But no, and he dies, and like he, I don't know, just kind of like he didn't. Once again, like the voice is man, like it's not like I can't go off anything because this is the first time Impactor was voiced by something.
Yeah.
But it's like I don't know. He was just like a basic con, and then he just owes Ratchet for saving his life, and then like you can tell that they were trying to force in the Impactor versus Mirage little contest they did. Way.
Yeah, I completely forgot about that.
Yeah, like because Mirage and Impactor are always bickering, like because they're forcing that in for the contest. Like that was like 2 years ago, yeah, and then the end, like he takes the shot for Ratchet in the end and dies. I'm like, well, fuck. I guess I was hoping more of a little for some kind of like lead into a Wreckers thing, but no, literally that's it. Because Impactor's a big deal in that storyline for Wreckers. He's a big character in the comics. But yeah, so have that kind of like wasted potential kind of made me sad. Oh wait, speaking of Wreckers, for characters that are in Siege that are not in the show, Just a reminder, like, isn't Springer in Siege the toy line?
Yeah, and then he was just like nowhere to be seen at all.
I mean, there's a
which
couple
is kind of
that were in the show. Like, I know, is I'm going to say this name wrong. Grapeface, Apeface,
Ape Face. Yeah.
Apeface isn't in that, and neither is Six Gun.
Nope.
I think those are the only ones. Everyone else shows
Brunt,
up.
or all the Seekers are there, obviously. Megatron's there, obviously. Yeah, no Ape Face, no Six Gun, no Brunt, no.
Oh yeah, Brunt. I forgot about Brunt.
Everyone forgets about poor Brunt.
Shows up for a little second, and then that's it.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of the whole Siege toy line now that I think about it. Oh yeah, no Silver Streaker, Blue Streaker Smokescreen.
That's right.
Even though they're technically Gen Selects in the 25th or the 35th anniversary.
But like, I mean, maybe they are in the background because the entire like cast of generics is just a bunch of Prowls, Mirages, and Sideswipes in house.
Don't forget Seekers.
Yeah. Oh yeah. For Decepticons, it's literally just Seekers and Refractors, and that's it.
Yep.
There's some, and like for Seekers, like it was hard to point out sometimes. Like is that Acid Storm, or are you just dark green? There's a lot of.
I personally call any Seeker of character or coloration that's familiar to me. I call them what they are. Like if I see one that looks like Sunstorm, it's like, oh hey, the Sunstorm.
Yeah, for sure. Like, there's times where like, oh, that's a bright yellow one. That's for sure Sunstorm. But then they're like, because I think there is a brown Seeker. Like sorry, not brown. Like a light tan Seeker that is known as Sunstorm. Sandstorm. Not to be confused with the Autobot triple changer of the same name. So there's a couple times where I'm like, oh, is that Sandstorm or
the Seeker named Sandstorm?
Yeah, it's he's not sure about any media except that he has a toy, and it's like it's trying to be a realistic F-15. But
what?
Yeah,
I didn't hear about this.
And that was other than that, it's really just been like.
Wait, was it like an e-hobby exclusive?
I don't know. I'll while we're talking about it, I'll look into it more. But I know it exists.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's like, cause like, there's times where I'm like, I think your hot link, okay, for hot link, bridging into like, so there is a specific toy line for this show, Walmart exclusive, the Netflix, War for Cybertron Siege toy line, and I was expecting these, for a show that's supposed to sell toys, and toys have gimmicks. Where were the Battle Masters? For anyone?
Or the Micromasters.
Yeah, or the Micromasters. I'm not gonna lie, I was hoping for an axe that turned to a Pteranodon or a hammer that turned to a Minotaur. Like, I don't know. I was kind of excited for this. And I personally think the toy line, like the toy gimmick in general, is kind of like meh. But that still doesn't mean like I kind of want to see it in footage because I think it'd be kind of funny. And I don't count Laserbeak or Ravage, even though they're technically a Battlemaster in a toy line. I don't count those. But it was kind of like, I don't know. Of all the things to not sell in your show, but for the toys, I'm surprised they didn't make it in because that was the gimmick. The whole Siege toy gimmick was now they have weapons and they do blast effects, but no, not even relevant in this show.
Yeah, I was kind of disappointed by that because it's like we get to see the weaponizers. I mean, well, a weaponizer really. We get to see Cog, which, by the way, I want a red version of that Cog as a toy because I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, it was surprising to have Cog be also the a Genericon, like because there were a lot of them there. Which I actually. Oh
yeah, he again first U.S. appearance. Like that ties into exactly what I'm talking about. I thought that was neat because it's like we only know Cog from the Fortress Maximus, and he was like a little add-on. Like he had a robot mode, but he didn't really have character per se. This they actually personified him. They gave him a character. Granted, it'd be like the Huffer of the group, where it's like, like, oh, this is a bad idea, or be cautious about stuff. Deliver the bad news. He honestly felt like Huffer to a degree.
Yeah.
But he was cool. I remember hearing the voice for the first time when I was watching the show, and immediately when I heard his voice, I couldn't help but think that sounded like TFI for a minute. Like, I was like, wait, Sam? Because it sounded a little like him. I was like, I know he's not in this, but it's just like that voice sounded so similar to him. I thought it was kind of funny. So when I heard the voices, just I put that together. But hearing Cog actually speak and like actually be part of the Autobot faction and like actually doing stuff, I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. And then I guess now the whole like weaponizer thing is not just a gimmick. This is literally what their alt mode is. They actually just transform into like weapon packs for soldiers, and it's like,
Yeah,
that's kind of cool.
Right, because like you can totally tell they have wheels, which because they're based off the toys. But I was actually kind of expecting them to turn to a vehicle, but then also show off like that this specific guy can turn to a vehicle, but then also just a badass turret like backpack.
And it only seems to be that one version of the backpack too, which I think is the most the most appropriate given war.
Actually, which speaking of transformations, man, for the show called Transformers, you don't see much of that. And if you do, when it happens, you hear it, and then it's just off screen, and then they show up like in robot mode, like, yes, I'm here.
Well, I mean, to be fair, this is Rooster Teeth's first time with Transformers, so I mean, they kind of had to like.
I don't know if I would call that an excuse. I mean, like just and it's not like it's impossible. We've seen it before in the show, but
yeah,
I'm also not saying like I don't want them to. I'm not expecting them to transform 24/7 throughout the show, but like there was a lot of like the movies also have that problem for being like cheap of like they'll do the sound effect, but off screen they show up. But like this show, like they ran that through like to the ground. Like a lot of times, right? I caught them like doing the classic sound effect, and then they just walk on screen. It was, and I felt like that one. This time, I was like, this seems a bit kind of like, boy, what a way to cheat the audience.
Yeah, I kind of felt the same way, honestly. I mean, also, the transformation noise needed to be different.
Yeah, it was actually getting annoying. Like it's classic. Don't get me wrong, but it's like there's no variety.
Yep,
it was the same effect over and over and over.
No difference, just classic.
Mm-hmm.
That was it. They didn't do anything else, and it bothered the crap out of me. And I really wish that they would have done more, but nope. Just same generic transformation sound effect we hear in all of Generation 1 or late media or previous media. But it's like, whatever. What can you do? It's fine, I guess.
Right. One character we've yet to talk about that I'm actually this is something that I was like hoping that would happen in the show, but never did. So.
Are you going to talk about who I think you're about to talk about?
I don't know. Maybe we're on the same brain here, but Ultra Magnus shows he's in the show for very little. He shows up, and like the toy for Ultra Magnus was covered specifically with a spoiler warning, being like, "Ooh, watch out! It's a spoiler if you buy the toy." And the thing with the toy was, it's Ultra Magnus, but he comes with Rung. And I'm like, oh, shit, is Rung going to be in the show? Oh, my God. And so this whole time, I'm like, I'm seeing Ultra Magnus. I'm like, all right, boy, you better fucking, like, where's Rung, baby? And there's a part where, like, Ultra Magnus is captured and they're torturing him and he starts breaking. And I'm like, oh, is Rung going to be is he going to be the little guy in the suit? It's going to be, like, surprised it's Rung in there the whole time. Because, like, that's the thing with Ultra Magnus, for those who don't know, that most continuities, it's usually a white Optimus Prime with a blue mask. But there are other times it's something different. And I was kind of like, there might be a twist where, it's Rung in this big old suit, but no, they kill him. And it's just Ultra Magnus. Like, because that's one of the things where I'm like, if he transforms, how would that work? Like, is he gonna have like the armor off, and you just have to see that truck and be like, where'd that truck come from? Like that's. I don't know. That's one of those things where, like, I'm surprised being like, let's sell the toys, and I was expecting like the Ultra Magnus armor to be off, and it's either just gonna be a Wild Optimus Prime or something else. But no Rung. Made me really sad.
No, but a very interesting theory from TFM page 101 was actually provided in the TFIA group chat that I'm part of. And this is kind of a big deal, and you kind of have to think about it a little bit here. But while the spoiler pack wasn't exactly accurate to what was debuted in the show, Brian deduced that what if the Rung was symbolism for the Alpha Trion protocol?
I mean, I I can see it. Like it's it's not like an eye opener for me. Which
I mean, because we know what Rung is in IDW. We know exactly who he is in IDW, and it's like, well, maybe that was a hint to not only just sell a repaint of Rung, but also to be like, yeah, hey, Ultra Magnus dies. He sees Primus, but no, like, I kind of wish that spoiler pack didn't really exist to a degree. Now that I look at it, because it's like it didn't serve a purpose. But at the same time, it's like when you think about it a little more, like when you really just look into it, yes, it's obviously a toy repaint made to be sold. But like with Rung, with the whole translucency that he has going on, he could have been the Alpha Trion protocols, or he could have just been the personification of a symbol of death. Because we know Rung in IDW is Primus.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I say that's a stretch. Like it's a very, very stretch.
Yeah.
Especially because otherwise you're like, I expect a reason to be, what's the symbolism behind the Lionizer and Pinpointer being with Megatron in the toy line? I think it really is just like they wanted to they have Rung as a toy model and they wanted to shove a toy in there to make it exclusive. Speaking of the Alpha Trion protocol, when you're Ultra Magnus and you have now the knowledge, as they say, like it's all the knowledge and strategies from Alpha Trion, and you as the Autobot commander think it's a good idea to waltz into the Decepticon base and give yourself up. What? Did the Alpha Trion protocol say, oh yeah, smart idea? Like I feel like that's, I don't know, it's obviously it's done nothing but bad for him throughout the entire show. The only thing I feel like it served was that now the Autobots know that the Decepticon's plan is. But like, I don't know, it's just like what a dumb choice by Magnus. Poor guy. He literally nothing good happened to him that entire show. But I will say, at least he led them to a really cool shot in the show. The graveyard scene was pretty cool. Beautiful landscape. Yeah. Too bad it was full of the dudes.
There's definitely one thing in Siege that they know how to do, and it's definitely environments. Like every time Cybertron shows up, it looks gorgeous. It's a very, very diverse. It's a very diverse Cybertron compared to what we normally see. But I think the landscape that we were given is just the best looking Cybertron we ever had. Like the games know how to do it pretty well. The Cybertron in Transformers Prime was handled very well, very generic, obviously, but still pretty well. But I think this is like the most diverse and intricate looking Cybertron we ever got in any Transformers animation. I think they did a really good job. Interesting to learn of some new locations like Tarnhauser Gates. I'm like, wow, this is supposed to be a reference, but I was not aware of this location happening on Cybertron. Obviously we have like I don't know if we have Iacon per se. I think we do. I don't even remember if they mentioned it or not.
I think they did. Like one of the places, like we led the Autobots to Iacon. Perfect. I think that was like the ambush scene with the Energon cube that was completely.
Yeah, because I think I remember Shockwave saying Iacon very slowly.
Did you
the Sea of Rust was definitely interesting.
No, dude, the Sea of Rust. I think that's one of the most. I think of the landscapes in that show. That's the first thing that came to mind because I love the beauty of the tornadoes and like that was a really awesome shot there. The only thing is like I'm starting to get annoyed of the Sea of Rust. Like I think it's a location we've seen multiple times.
Yeah, but this had to be like the most interesting take.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's the most.
I love like all the different types of like, not booby traps, but like these harsh environments going on. Like I like the whole electromagnetic storms. I like the metal vortexes. I adore what I deem as the Sparkless Pit.
Yes, which at first I thought they were like because of the background there was a lot of like purple crystals. I'm like, oh shit, is there like Dark Energon in the middle of the storm? That was because I thought these were for sure. A lot of people were saying before the show came out, like, oh, these are Terracons.
Yeah, I thought that's what they were going to be called too. But like, I like the Sparkless better. It doesn't sound as like generic or anything. It just sounds like it sounds kind of neat.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of the Sparkless, I'm not gonna lie. I was probably just not paying attention. But I totally thought Moonracer was Chromia. I was just like, because it's the same character model,
same
but
model.
slightly greener. I honestly like. I didn't even pay attention to the fact that like, oh, why is Chromia suddenly British? Whatever. Like when she died, and then when she was there with Sideswipe with the other team, I'm like, wait, what? Oh.
It was kind of sad to hear that to see that she died, but it's like she didn't really do anything. But it was cool to see her in the cartoon since 1985.
Yeah, that is once again like that's
same with Chromia. I kind of wish Firestar was in here, but oh well.
Also, they're once again like they're bringing back more like elements from recent stuff, especially comic wise, and now Cyberverse is that Caminus was mentioned. So I guess the females are still one. Oh yeah, and Velocitron was mentioned as well.
So I mean, there's definitely some elements being thrown into everything.
Oh yeah,
which I very much like.
Because especially like I think Cyberverse is maybe I think it might be that might be now the new like the basis. Like the Line continuity is supposed to be the primary Transformers storyline, but I think they've ignored that, and now Cyberverse is becoming the basic this is the general idea of what the Transformers story is.
This is basically the new G1.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and especially like with ever since with Bumblebee and with Bumblebee and Cyberverse coming at the same time, they're like Hasbro's realized brand recognition is very important. So this time, like let's like that now for now on, pretty much Soundwave's gonna look like Soundwave, Shockwave's like Shockwave. You'll be able to recognize these characters instead of just like let's do this, but make them a giant crab monster. Which can be kind of like I can see people get annoyed with that of like where's the variety? But I personally been like that's fine, like as long as they change up a little bit. That's why like way back when Transformers The Last Night came out, when Age of Extinction came out, I was really on like not on the board of like why does Optimus Prime look like a medieval knight, and having that go on for a whole other movie, I'm like that's it's the equivalent of like Iron Man shows up in Avengers but he's wearing samurai armor. It just doesn't seem natural to the character. So having everyone in this show Siege continues of like everyone looks like everyone. Shockwave looks like Shockwave. The only of the rare characters that don't have toys, Alpha Trion shows up and he looks like Alpha Trion. It's nice to be able to recognize characters again and not question who's who.
Yeah. I don't know why people had that issue with the movies, but if they weren't like original Transformers fans, I can understand it. But like us Transformers fans, we know who everyone's supposed to be. Mm-hmm. I just don't understand how people can have this conception of like, oh, who's this supposed to be? It's like
Yeah. I'm trying to think. Is there what other characters have we or plot devices? Did you like the Alpha Trion Protocol?
No, I honestly didn't.
Neither did I. I think that was kind of a boring MacGuffin. Is like. And I mean, I don't understand what's the horror of having the Matrix leadership and the Alpha Trion Protocol. Like, what's so bad about that? Like,
I don't know.
I'll be mentioned in ways like, oh, so you wanted to share the power, like share because like the good guys like sharing stuff. But I mean, if I was in the middle of a war, I need as much as I can get, especially when my Autobot commander decides to surrender because he seems a little sad with one of the most important relics of my past, and he gave himself up.
That really bothered you, didn't it?
Yeah, it's just like I don't know, it's just like it was a cool scene. It looked cool when Ultramax is doing the Dark Moon Megatron thing with the cape. I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. He looks really kind of cool and sick, but it just strategically wise, that's such a bad idea. And like Ultramax's his thought was like, oh, I know Megatron. We grew up together. We're brothers. I'm sure he won't, torture me and kill me. Oh no, he tortured me and killed me.
I made a grave mistake.
Yeah, a very grave mistake. Which I kind of like the with his last moments of like, oh yeah, I'll take you to Jabba base and just bring him to a thing of their past, because they mentioned it in the show like, hey, like we at Tarn
Hauser Gate.
Have their gate, like I saved you and you saved me, and now they're there at that place, and that's where that's where Ultraman.
And that's where we see like Megatron's true animosities be revealed. It's like he's not playing any games. Like you thought it for something I want to talk about, because we're not talking about episode by episode.
Right.
Pure elements from this show. I love the humanity we see from Megatron. Like, there's a scene where Ultra Magnus is surely just, like, purely being tortured by Shockwave, and, like, Ultra Magnus is trying to talk to him. You see Megatron kind of, like, look at Ultra Magnus a little bit and then look away, and just tell, like, Shockwave just keeps telling him, like, you know, continue on with what you're doing. And it's just like, I like that hesitance. I like that little bit of character. It's like, that's something you don't see in Transformers.
Yeah. From the beginning, you can tell Megatron he's rarely hesitant, but you do see like especially when Ultra Magnus is pleading to stop, and you can like you say, Megatron, he's looking away. He doesn't like the idea of this, but he also needs results. Yeah, especially with this show being over. Like, by the end of the show, and hopefully by next season when we see Megatron again, like, he'll probably be a lot more nastier, especially because in his eyes, like, the Allspark, like, making the Allspark leave the planet is killing the planet. And like, in his eyes, like, that's like, I may be a dick, but that's pure evil to our race. And that, you know, so seeing Optimus Prime, like, you know, like, he would never expect him to do it, but he does. And it's like, it's gonna be interesting to have when we see Megatron next. It's like you doomed our planet. I am not going to fucking stop chasing you. Like, you messed up.
Yeah, now we actually have like a motive for why Megatron is the way he is.
Which so actually, I'm really interested to see that, because I bet like it'll probably be some kind of time will have passed, and you know, Starscream will probably start to realize, like, maybe I should be leading, because you get a hint of that when, like, he's like, did you hear they're gonna make Autobots into Decepticons? That's disgusting. So there's already hints of like him being like, you know, if there's really should be real one true leader, it's me. And yeah, and I also like how for Shockwave they made it to where like, you know, he has experiments, he does what Megatron says, but he also has other things that he just doesn't tell anyone about. Like, the virus was a whole thing that, you know, that was a secret, and Megatron's like, you dickbag, you left that out. Fine, we'll use it, but I'm not happy about it. Which, if anything, like, that virus was very, very effective. Like, oh yeah, for sure. With that virus, we see the few seconds of Cliff Jumper, and odds are he probably died.
Oh, big surprise! Yeah, what else is new?
It's going to become a Transformers patent thing that has to happen. Which is sad for him, but I guess we can all blame The Rock for that one. Yeah. But like, yeah, like, that's. Oh, you know what we never talked about?
Are we talking about who I think you're about to talk about? Yeah,
again, the guy who like stole episode 5, like the real.
Once again, first U.S. appearance, and I love him. Fucking Sound Blaster, man, he was so cool.
I really love the idea of that, because like that's because a few Transformers shows they play the idea of like, what if instead of one guy turning into another guy, we just make them two separate dudes. And I was not expecting. I mean,
I read that spoiler, but like, I was not expecting him to actually be in the show. Like, holy shit, man! He freaking stole it. He's by far my favorite my favorite character. I can't say Decepticon because he's not a Decepticon. He's a mercenary.
Oh yeah, that's the thing. That's the other thing. Because this is also a perfect way to describe a character. Like, just literally a simple exposition of like, hey, like, you know, don't mention Soundwave. He hates it because he's a clone in the Shockwave experiment. It makes him mad. Like, that's all the information we need. We don't need, like, there's no major monologue or anything. Like, we've got everything we need to know about Sound Blaster. And also, I like he's like
2 sentences.
Exactly. Yeah, you don't need to go through it in depth with him. And I also like how he's like he also like talk like. He doesn't talk maniacally either. He's just like Bumblebee, back so soon.
He talks like a pimp.
Yeah, exactly. Like, he's like
he has the posture of a pimp too. He's just sitting in that chair, like, across his hands, head slightly tilted, having his hand on his. Oh,
that's
fucking love.
Yeah, he was a joy to see. What a
so cool. And then also to add even more to him, I love the fact that Soundwave doesn't have one of his cassettes. Sound Blaster does. Sound Blaster straight up has Buzzsaw. It's like, that's great.
Yeah, I do. I enjoy that, and you can like see that's because like because personally, I don't know how I feel about Soundwave turning to Sound Blaster. Sometimes I think it's cool, but sometimes I think it's eh. But like I don't know, just like it's I'm okay with that. I'm okay with him having Buzzsaw, and you can tell that he's also because Sound Blaster's like the toy wise, the gimmick is that he can house 2 cassettes, and you can kind of see like he's also based off the specific toy model of Sound Blaster. That he's his chest a little bigger, so he can house those 2 cassettes. And I think it's interesting that they will you know like they were willing to instead of just make him a repaint of Soundwave. They remodeled something slightly different and you know bring him in. It's a joy to see like a small concept that we never see, and now he's just a character in and of itself.
Yeah, I agree. I really just love the fact that like, I love his overall character. RC showing up was a pleasant surprise too. I was not expecting that.
Exactly. Yeah. It's and you can tell like her model is just like it's Alita 1 but different head. But it was good to see her, and like it was kind of like throughout the series, like each episode has it to where like suddenly this character shows up, like Prowl shows up, I think in episode 2 or 3 out of nowhere. I'm like, oh, I guess Prowl's in the team now. And same with Ironhide, he just shows up like within a second, like, oh, there he is. But it's yeah, once again, it's nice to see her. Apparently, she's part of Alita 1's own group. I think you know.
I guess so.
That's what they mentioned.
Well, yeah, because in G1 she was part of yeah, because in G1 she was part not RC but like Moonracer, Firestar, and Chromia. They were part of Alita 1's squad. So I mean,
yeah,
it wouldn't be too far fetched to be like, oh, RC was part of the squad all along. It's like okay, it's like we knew this show took place on Cybertron, so having random characters show up for no reason is nothing to be like, oh, this is lazy, oh, this is stupid. It's like they're on Cybertron. There are more characters than we can see here than we can say on Earth, because it's like at least here when they show up, it kind of makes sense. Whereas on Earth in G1, like season 2, especially when more characters showed up, it's like, wait, where did these Autobots come from? Where do these Decepticons come from? Who are these guys? It's like we don't know. But here it's like they're on Cybertron. They're all fighting for the same thing. It's fine.
Yeah, exactly, and that's how we do with Earthrise as well. It'll slowly become like, you know, because I'm guessing because when season 2 shows up and it's based off the Earthrise toys, Hoist is going to be on the Ark and Grapple, and they'll just be like, like we were just here, like we're on screen, but what's up? And they dab. But it's yeah, it's that's one thing about I wanted to mention that I think we mentioned before the stream was that I don't know how I feel about the cast being so small, like because it's like all the characters are from the toys.
It very much feels like Robots in Disguise 2015 or Transformers Prime with like such a small cast, and then like
which is that's normally it's not bad. It's not a bad thing at all. It's just
no, not at all. But it just at the same time,
it's very apparent. Like especially when your generics are because I also forgot with Sound Blaster's posse, it's just a bunch of impactors, but dark.
Yeah.
It's weird to have it's like especially if you know the toy line and you're going to the show, you know, experiencing that toy line, you can tell like, oh, everyone that's in Siege is here, but that's it.
Yeah.
Hey,
Brian. Welcome to the return of TFTC. Apparently, its first reception isn't doing well. I'm looking at you, dislikers. Stop being haters.
Ooh, these dislikes. Ooh, I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell your mother.
You dislikers shall not steal my thunder. I'm gonna do what I want to do. You don't like it? Unsubscribe.
Brian.
Brian.
Hey, Peter.
Hey, Stewie, I'm gonna go to a big drink.
George Lucas?
Stewie, I'm going to the big drink.
Ooh, Brian.
I thought you were.
Ooh, Brian, can't go to the big drink. You gotta watch over Meg.
I thought you were genuinely doing like George Lucas for a minute. Because I know that was a thing we used to do.
Stewie.
My boy!
I'm George Lucas, Stewie. And you're gonna be in the next. You're gonna be Mandalorian. You are Baby Yoda. Baby Yoda is based on Stewie Griffin.
Welcome to the return of TFTC, my friend.
No.
Oh, okay.
Cut the credits.
It's canceled. Everyone go home. No, but
Okay.
kind of getting back onto it. Yeah, I definitely agree with like the cast, how it's like very apparent, like these are the characters we're gonna see, but like who knows? We might see more later. I don't know. I like the generics. The generics are definitely a lot of fun. I always enjoy whenever we see like generic Transformers. I don't know why. This gave me like very this gave me very like Beast Machines / Transformers Prime vibes. Because it's like we got the refractors. I refuse to call them refractors. I hate that name. We got the reflectors as the ground forces, and then we have the seekers as the air forces. Kind of gave me like ground Viacon and and then like air Viacon vibes from both Transformers Prime and Beast Machines. I don't know if I'm the only one who felt like that, but it's just I don't know, something to point out.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think it's just it's I agree. I also like seeing generics, and I always like to see like how they do in this show or how they do in this show. And for this one, it's part of me is kind of like it's kind of lazy, but also it's not like they're gonna make 1,000 different models just to have a dude show up a few times on the side.
That's what I think is that like. I don't really care about the drones so much because they could be whoever they are. They're not specific characters. They're just there to pretty much get across that these are the people of Cybertron. And what's also funny too is that they're choosing characters for the most part. Well, I guess some of the characters that they choose or some of the models that they choose have tons of repaints anyways with Transformers. The Sideswipe, the Seekers, they have tons of repaints in Transformers anyways. I mean, we're getting the Tiger Track soon.
Still can't fucking believe that. Honestly, was not expecting Tiger Track to be a figure. I am curious now because it's like
deep cover soon, by the way, because there's one Sideswipe repaint that looks like deep cover that keeps coming up.
I was about to point that out, honestly. I was hoping that I could have sworn I saw like a deep cover because it's a blue Sideswipe with like greenish looking optics, and he shows up pretty prominently too. So I'm sure he'll probably be part of like the Gen Selects, or if we're lucky, and I use the term loosely, maybe a third wave of the Netflix figures.
Oh, we'll get one. There was a rumor for the name Deep Cover and Cheetor, along with the Elita One, Wheeljack, and Impactor, which we eventually got. So, I have no doubt we'll get a Deep Cover and Cheetor and whoever else was listed on that.
I feel like Cheetor might be the Kingdom listing, though. I don't know why he would be in the.
I think what they're doing is if they're going to do Cheetor, I feel like he's going to be early Cybertron Cheetor.
Okay, yeah.
What if the whole series with Siege and Earthrise takes place long ago? Although that doesn't make sense with their alt modes, but I don't know.
Yeah. What I'm thinking is if they do Cheetor in the Netflix line before, because you're saying it's early Cybertron, what if they took an element that was not used in like media and they made him like kind of like Tiger Track? They kind of took like inspiration from like Transformers Animated, where he was like a blur repaint. What if he was like that with like a Sideswipe repaint?
Well, there was that animated, or not animated, but that Clocker repaint from BotCon that I thought, hey, that looks like they could do something with that.
Oh, true. I didn't think about that. But yeah, I like the generics. It was cool to see generic Transformers after so long, because like if you watch Transformers Armada, yes, I know, favorite show, I talk about too much. It's fine. In the later episodes of the Unicron battles, when they're on Cybertron, or even one of the first few episodes of the first season, you actually see like a few generic Transformers on Cybertron. Like you see a dude that looks like Skyfire, and then you see a dude that looks like one of the aerial bots, I think. And then you see like Hounds and a Red Alert and like other generics, and then like yeah. So it's like it's neat to see that type of generic Transformer again. Like Transformers Cybertron and also Energon had like generic Transformers like that. So to see that kind of develop into a recent series like Siege is pretty cool, because it's like, yes, it's just one type for each faction, similar to Transformers Prime or Beast Machines, but it's still cool to have that element in Transformers, because I think that's something that they don't utilize that often.
I like watching Megatron not just be. Whoa, what was that?
What was what?
No, I just heard some background noise. I like Megatron in this because he's not just blasting Autobots or just, causing mayhem or anything like that. He actually talks and tries to convince people to join his side, but you could still see his tyrannical side still leaking through, and the curtain gets pulled for a certain point for some of the characters. What I really like about the Siege show, as much as some people might not like it, especially with the writing and whatnot, what I like about it is I can't say none of them, but a lot of the characters question their leaders. It's not just they're blindly following them.
Yeah.
Like Ratchet, Jetfire, Impactor, so many other characters, Alita 1, of course. Because with Megatron, there's a vision that people, like his followers, agree with, but it's the way he's doing it that's the problem, and that's what's makes some characters switch sides. But for Optimus, it's the risks that he takes, and that's what makes people question him. So they're both imperfect leaders. They both have blood on their hands.
Yeah, it's funny, we were talking about that earlier too, and I very much I talked about that, because like, again, Optimus is like overly optimistic and way too hopeful. Like, he puts faith way too much into all his choices and such, and
you can see that he's stressing himself out too. Like, he's just put in it's stressing him out too. Like, he's put in the corner.
Yeah, I mean, I like that as well. Like, that's an aspect of Optimus we never really see. I very much enjoy that. I like the scene specifically where he's like questioning himself, like he's confessing to Alita, like, sometimes I wonder, are the choices I'm making the best for our race or whatever. It's like, that is something we do not hear Optimus say ever.
Optimus fights for freedom, and Megatron fights for order, and that's their version of peace.
Yeah, but then we have Megatron, who's like slowly kind of corrupted towards power and allowing his ideologies to cloud his judgment, which I think is a very interesting take on the character.
In fact, I think sometimes doesn't even follow his own ideologies.
Yeah, but he definitely lets his animosity. I'm trying to think of like very intellectual words to say. He definitely lets his animosity display a lot more than normal. Like, it's so cool to see a civil Megatron, but also still retain that warlord type aesthetic that he has for all of his characters. But to see him,
I'm so tired of seeing Megatron behind the scenes, and they say, oh yeah, he's been plotting all this ever since blah blah blah. With Age of Extinction and Dark of the Moon and whatever other movie. He's just already, apparently his plot is already moving and everyone else is trying to figure it out. And that's how we know about his plot. He doesn't just talk things through or set it up. For this one, he actually, he not only is he's in the process of planning things out, but he's given opportunities to do certain things, and he doesn't just go into it. He thinks things through. Like, for example, at a certain point, Shockwave brings up that, oh, maybe we should do this. And Megatron has some hesitation towards that because it might not be the best thing to do, but he still does it anyways. But still, the fact that he doesn't just go at it and processes and analyzes and
he doesn't let his anger manifest more so than previous incarnations of Megatron, where it's like, I want results, do whatever it is necessary. He actually takes a little bit of time to think about it.
Yeah, exactly.
And a good scene with that type of display is whenever Shockwave is trying to when he's trying to like reason with Megatron about like, well, you won't let me use these specific methods or whatever, and Megatron's just like, do not lecture me, Shockwave. Aims his fusion cannon. Jetfire kind of is like, Megatron. He notices that he's starting to like get frustrated. He's starting to get angry with this whole thing. Like this ongoing conflict is really starting to take a mental toll on him. And then Megatron like has this second thought of like retaliation or not retaliation. He has like the second thought of like remorse against his action currently, and he just deactivates his fusion cannon. You see it in his optics as he kind of like looks away a little bit, and then it's just like tells just Shockwave, do whatever you need to do that's necessary, as long as it gets results. But he says so calmly, like he doesn't tell like an order. He's just
I wouldn't say it's remorse. I'd say it's more just like trying to figure out the best option, I guess.
Yeah, I was like, because like it's for him. I can see it in his head, like you know, he wants to get the job done, and I bet there's a lot of times where he wants to be like brute force and strength, you know, should be the answer, and like it's the answer I want. But the thing, like, you know, when Shockwave's kind of like when he pushes back at him, it's like his first result, being the gladiator that he is you know, force of like you know danger, just like what'd you say to me? But then he has to be like, no, I need, you know, because especially if I start shooting off my closest lieutenants, no one's gonna follow me. So he's kind of like, pull back, do what you gotta do. We gotta get this done, and I gotta just settle down and be that leader.
I will say one of my favorite scenes in the whole show is when Starscream becomes commander of the Seekers, and you see Shockwave, Soundwave, and Barricade be like, what the hell?
Yeah, like
don't know why Shockwave had to have like the sassy.
I've always wanted to see that in Transformers, their reaction, because they're the commanders, they're the higher ups, and then Starscream, this squirmy little slimy son of a gun that Megatron can't trust, second in command.
I don't know why.
He doesn't make sure to say second in command. Like he's always like, you are command of the Seekers, and he's just like, yes, like I love the cringy speech he gives, just like, we will rule the heavens, like you're gonna have a great time with me, and they're like, oh, God, what a fuck. What an
We're
idiot.
going to TFTC Fridays.
I don't understand why, but I kind of like it. It's so out of character for Shockwave, but I love how he has like the sassy woman pose, the hand on his hip.
Oh God! Speaking of hips, God, this annoyed me every time. Every time when like Optimus or any character would like turn their waist, their waist, like they're like they.
You talking about the stretchiness?
Yeah, especially their waist. They would bend and twist anytime they needed to do that, which I get it, so they can emote. But like it looked very out of place.
It was funny watching Alita 1, though. Her hips are going everywhere.
Alita 1, she comes with the sassy pose, like she has to bend that hip. Like especially when you first like when they introduce her to everyone, and she's like, Optimus, like you don't listen to me.
But she's walking normally, and her hips are going whoosh whoosh. It's like a swing set.
It's very much like we gotta get the lady Transformers in better.
There were definitely moments where like the walking cycles were starting to bother me with certain characters, like with Jetfire specifically. Like, yes, I know he has like a long cockpit chest, but like seeing that mid-riff section of him just stretching like side to side like that is just
no glasses.
Yeah, it's just weird. Like Optimus doing it, Megatron very slightly doing it, but he's still like they're just. It's living metal, yes, but it's still metal. But seeing it stretch like rubber was weird. It's like, okay, whatever. It's for the show.
You can't like. There's no really defense against it. It's like I'm not expecting these guys to do some grade A like twisting of metal in pieces to make it look normal like a movie would do it. It's just kind of distracting to be like, oh, that's weird.
It doesn't distract me so much because it's a cartoon animation.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, same.
Like, ooh, weird.
It's some of the motions that were most of it's fine. Most of it I could get behind. It's just when I noticed that Alita's waist piece thing is flinging all over the place. It's just hilarious.
And like how like she's very much cleaner than everyone else. Like everyone is not only just scruffed up, but there's a bunch of detail from toys. But she's very like there's nothing on her, and it's just they made it very clear, like, oh, she's shiny and curvy. Ooh.
Because sex
Alita.
appeal.
Sex sells.
Alita,
For real.
you want to play Five Nights at Freddy's with me? Markiplier.
But yeah, I mean, the walking cycles on some were kind of off. And it's all animation, obviously. You know, I mean, it's not going to be, again, it's far from flawless because, like I said earlier in the live stream, there were definitely a couple scenes, specifically pointing one out, where Optimus is driving in the beginning and he's starting to go farther away and it just starts to look like choppy as all hell. There were definitely a few occasions where it was like that, but it did improve.
Mm-hmm.
But like the animation is by far from anything from flawless. I think it's good for what it is. It's one of the most gorgeous looking Transformers shows we ever got. I will say that.
I will say this. I feel like some people are being... I feel like Transformers can't win at this point. I feel like some people are just too... what's the word? I can't think of it. Too... well, picky, I guess, but cynical when it comes to Transformers media nowadays. That nothing... It seems like nothing can flourish at this point. Yes, the show isn't perfect, but I see people screaming or just getting angry over the show because of such little things, like Peter Cullen's not in the show, and I can't watch it because Peter Cullen's not in it. And it's not just the voice acting in general. I would totally understand that, but it's the fact that they don't have Peter Cullen. That's their problem. And I'm just thinking, he's not going to be in Transformers forever.
Right.
So you should probably start to get over that. And he hasn't even been Optimus Prime throughout every incarnation. You had David Kaye, you had Gary Chalk as Optimus Prime before him. Or
Neil
not
Kaplan.
before him, but before the new guy.
Neil Kaplan.
Neil Kaplan.
But
yeah, you go.
I get that people would want Peter Cullen, and I would too, but at a certain
grateful
point,
with what you get.
Realize that we need to have someone new step up for Optimus Prime.
Be grateful for what you get. I mean, go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna make it quick. Like I mentioned earlier in the stream, I'm not the biggest fan of Optimus Prime's voice in this one. But I'm not. But that's I never said like, oh man, like if only Peter Cullen was voicing Optimus, it would be better. I think actually the dialogue alone, like if anything, I feel like I'm kind of glad Peter Cullen didn't do it either, because I'm not really a big fan of this Optimus, so I wouldn't really want to have Peter Cullen attached to this one. It doesn't mean like if he did it, he would have did it right. Like I don't know, just this actor's performance in general just didn't seem like he made Optimus seem young. So this is, again, I mentioned earlier in the stream, which I guess in a way it kind of fits because like this Optimus, as you can tell, he's very naive. He's going into traps, like not like even if he's like, yeah, I know it's a trap.
That's kind of an understatement.
Yeah, we'll still going to go into it because I want to I will trust Ultra Magnus with my life. There's no way it would be that bad, and it becomes very terrible. And like it's just like I don't know. It's I don't want to say like it's all because it's the voice actor's fault that I don't like Optimus. There's a lot of reasons why I don't like this Optimus. But it is it's
the
choices I definitely
the Cyberverse version. It's the same guy doing the Cyberverse.
Jake Fushi,
kind of like normal guy trying to do it for the first time.
I was thinking earlier that
Jake Fushi is the guy, and he did good as Cyberverse Prime. I'll give him serious props for that. But like, in my personal opinion, I can't speak for everyone. I refuse to speak for everyone. I'm just saying, me personally, it was a different take on Optimus, while still kind of being a Peter Cullen sound alike. I personally enjoyed it on occasion, because at least this Optimus laughed and actually showed a little more emotion than other Optimuses. But I mean, in this show, he definitely took the Cyberverse practice that he had and kind of improved upon it on certain cases. Like, I mean, when he still sounded angry, I couldn't help but hear, like, yeah, he's an angry Optimus, but why do I hear Batman? Especially in, like, one of the last lines in the final episode of the first season where he's like, and I won't let you enslave it. I'm like, it sounded like he sounded like Batman.
For me, it's like when you first started yelling in episode 1, it was just like, "We are not the Decepticons." It's just like it didn't sound like you totally broke character there. It sounded like some 18-year-old trying to do an impression, like in a stop motion.
Did you, Michael, talk about the whole Ultra Magnus spoiler pack theory thing that I brought up in the voice
a bit
chat?
earlier? Yeah, but I did. I talked about it. I gave you proper credit because you were the one to talk about it in this chat. So the last thing I wanted to do was be like, "This is my idea."
It was driving me nuts why the spoiler pack had Ultra Magnus. I guess because he was damaged in the show, but like Sideswipe, Hound, and all them were damaged. So I thought, what is the link to Rung? Oh, Alphatron Protocol. It's probably not even Rung. Or maybe it is Rung or Primus or whatever, and he's part of it somehow, but
I was thinking they were kind of just referring to like his death because like what do they normally say when a Transformer dies? Oh, they're one with the Matrix, the Allspark, Primus. It's like maybe that was the personification and symbolism for death. Who knows? All I know is why is the Magnus pack a thing?
Yeah, I mean, personally, from what I said earlier, I think looking into it too hard, I think really they just shoved it wrong so they could give you another character. As much as I don't, as much as I'd love to try to, theorize why Wrong is in this spoiler, don't look inside pack, I think it really is just like we got to give an action, a battle master because the toy line does that, even though the show will never do that.
I still do think it's the Alphatron Protocol, and they just handed it to Ultra Magnus.
Then I would think like, then what's the mystery behind Megatron being packaged and pinpoints his between being and leader, like just really because we can these two toys that will not show up in the show. Same with like was it the fire guy, the Hotlink. He has two flamethrower power masters which don't even show up in the show at all. He doesn't even does any pyrotechnesis in the show. It's just I honestly I feel like they slapped in the spoiler warning because it's nice marketing to be like, oh, Netflix show, no spoilers. Because like God knows, because like didn't they reveal a new one coming up this next wave? There's another no spoiler leader class thing, which who knows what it will be.
Yeah, it's a Decepticon one, and I.
Oh God, watch it just be.
Brian and I talked about this.
Cracked the code on it, I think.
What do you think it is?
Nemesis Prime.
Oh, really? Oh,
because the box says Giza, which was the arms micron to the original Nemesis Prime, and also came with the Power of the Primes Nemesis Prime. If not, I think it might be Astrotrain because maybe that's their transportation for the Decepticons.
I mean, he did like show up, literally screen time of maybe 3 seconds.
Literally the shortest Transformer appearance ever.
And he's got a toy that's already in Earthrise as well, so maybe he.
Honestly, if it is Astrotrain, I'm probably gonna pass, or maybe I won't. I don't know. But I'm kind of hoping it's Nemesis Prime, even though he may not show up in this incarnation. He is still because while they are saying that it's like, actually, wait a minute, hold on, I'm looking at.
I'll just say this. The reason why I say that Wrong is the Alphatron Protocol is because I think that the whole pack is a reference to the Takara Combiner Wars Ultra Magnus. Because the original Combiner Wars figure had a little Minimus that was repainted in Alphatron colors.
That's right. I forgot about that.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that the whole idea is you could pass that rung off to Bumblebee.
Okay, so... Also, yeah, that would very much work. So I'm looking at the packaging right now for the whole War for Cybertron trilogy for Netflix. They don't determine that it's Siege. They just say that the toy line is War for Cybertron trilogy.
Well, yeah,
so
we kind of figured that.
If that's any indication to go by. No, I know, but I'm trying to. I got a thing rolling on right here. Okay. That's not meant to be malicious. I'm being playful. If that's any indication to go on, aside from the Wheeljack and the Bumblebee, even though Bumblebee and Wheeljack were both in Siege, maybe that is actually Nemesis Prime, and maybe he's just not going to show up in Siege, but he will show up in the Netflix show later on. Like he'll probably show up in Earthrise. Perhaps.
We already
I
have
don't
a
know.
first out download of Optimus Prime in that second wave, so yeah, I'm pretty sure that whatever's in that spoiler pack is for Earthrise, especially considering if it was for Siege, it'd be kind of pointless because by then the Siege show's already up.
Yeah.
Even though they did, like some of that toy line, that next wave, it is a bunch of Siege dudes. Like Impactor is there, but obviously he will not show up in Earthrise because he is dead. So
or maybe he'll show up again because death doesn't matter in this world because we saw
true.
fucking
Spinster got stabbed, and I thought he was a goner.
It's like,
He shows up.
I'm saying this, and this may be debatable because it's like we saw Cog get shot basically where the spark chamber is, and then all of a sudden he's okay. We see Spinister get impaled on a spike, and then all of a sudden he's okay.
Was actually another cog, because as we saw, a bunch of cogs are just kind of in the background with different colored. And I honestly thought like, oh, this is another cog, right? No, but no, it's the same guy. Like, oh shit,
Yeah.
like, who can be saved, but who can't be saved? You know, it is kind of
Well,
weird.
let's see. We can't save Ultra Magnus. He's dead.
No, he's dead.
God, it was really messed up watching his body all hooked up to those.
Dude, I talked about this with one of my buddies online yesterday on Google Hangouts. That was some of the darkest shit Transformers has ever done. Like, they've done corpse play before in Transformers Prime, like they did it with Breakdown, but like this, they took that and they went to a whole nother level. Like, he wasn't brought back to life or anything; he was just a corpse.
It's like Cliff Jumper in Transformers Prime.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Ultra Magnus is the new Cliff Jumper.
Oh no.
Man,
I mean,
that
it's just
Ironhide is not looking good when you put the hood on the back.
wait, what?
There's an image going around. It came up, but the Ironhide, it shows the backpack on.
Oh
and it
yeah,
does not look good.
no, it looks ugly. I'll probably do like just a G1 transformation where it's like, oh, it's a sled. Here, I don't care, or we'll do the shield thing. I don't know. I'm trying to think of what else to really talk about in Siege. Like, we didn't. There's a couple things. Oh yeah, big debut coming back, like return. Omega Supreme.
Oh yeah.
Haven't
We just showed
seen
up.
him
By the way,
since
I got
animated.
out that when you guys were talking about characters that show up, I had mentioned that in my review, and someone was like, "Oh yeah, because G1 never did it." And I'm like, "Oh, okay. One show does it, and the other show does it. That means nothing. Then no, it's just it happens still." But anyways, go on.
I personally liked that this take on Omega Supreme is not just big Autobot. Like, this is yet another faction of these specific characters who are just like non-affiliates.
Well,
like we have what?
Omega Sentinels.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, it's still a faction in a sense. It's like with Sound Blaster and the Mercenaries. It's like we don't have more than like 2 factions, and we have like 4.
I
And
don't
thought that was
think
kind
that
of
counts as a faction. I think that's factionless, though.
Like a race.
I don't know. It could be debatable, honestly. I look at it as a kind of like a faction, but like,
Well, Bumblebee's not in a faction either. At the start.
Yeah. Well, he still never wears the badge either, so until he slaps one on, then I'll call him an Autobot.
No, but the point is, you don't have a faction if you're not on the side.
Well, what else can you really call them then? Like, deities?
Not affiliated.
They're not in the faction, so they're nothing.
They are just like, you know, we're Cybertronians. We're big old Cybertronians that guard Cybertron.
Yeah.
What's up?
I guess it'd kind of be like the equivalent of like the Gumball Guardians from Adventure Time in the Candy Kingdom.
Yeah.
Sure.
I don't know. I kind of wanted to see if I could think of like another, because it's like it was neat to see like the Mercenaries actually as like a legit faction, even with the shit ton of repaints of Impactor.
And Sound Blaster. I was surprised that Sound Blaster was his own character.
First US debut, baby! I was so happy. He's so fucking cool.
Yeah, but what bothers me is it's a Walmart exclusive. That's the same thing with Ratchet. They made him a big character, and yet you have to get him at Walgreens.
Oh yeah, that's so weird. I forgot all about that.
I think
I would love it if partway in the show it's like, you like this character? Go to Walgreens.
I know someone else I didn't really get to talk about that much. Red Alert. I thought he was cool as the medic. He definitely gave me like some serious Armada vibes. Mainly because one, he was the medic. That's basically what he was in Transformers Armada, as well as like the technical supervisor, technical officer of the Autobots. I thought that was neat. He wasn't
Crazy.
super paranoid or anything like he was in Generation 1. He was a very calm take on him. The voice for him suited him really well. Kind of wish he did more. I mean, yeah, he's just the medic, but really kind of wish he did more. But near the end of the final episode, when he gets shot and he's not able to make it on the Ark, I'm like, no, don't you fucking dare kill Red Alert.
And
I got scared.
He'll get our select figure, hopefully. The leader class, please.
Wait, which leader class?
I want the double dealer repaint into Red Alert.
What? Did that work?
Cybertron Galaxy Defense.
Oh!
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, dude, yeah, Cybertron Defense? Yeah, fuck yeah, that'll work.
Now Red Alert turns into a giant bird. But
Or they could just get rid of it. They could get rid of the bird parts. Maybe.
But then that would ruin the fun.
Maybe he'll show up in IDW and he transforms into a bird for some reason.
I would love it if, with the rocket, they have the front of the rocket still, so it goes on the shoulder, but the back end transforms into that blade that goes on his arm.
Oh, that'd be neat. That's a really good idea, actually. I never thought about that.
The fact that they have Cybertron Defense Hotshot.
Technically, yeah. It's just a repaint of Hound, but yeah, that's true.
Well, technically, it's still the same.
Yeah, it's an awesome twist.
That's a really good idea.
That's a good idea, Brian. You should think better things, because now
You know what? I'm gonna put it on the fridge. I'm gonna write down your idea. I'm just gonna write it on the fridge.
Yeah, we're not gonna put it in the shed forever or anything. Cupboard.
Trying to think of like who else there really was. Oh yeah, one thing that definitely really bothered me: Skywarp dying. Why?
Because everyone was upset of the Amazon exclusive.
That's true. Like, no, they don't expect anyone to buy him online. So it's like, oh well, it's not like.
I mean, even if you want him now, he goes for like crazy prices on the aftermarket.
Or you get the
stupid.
2-pack. That's kind of awkward because he's dead.
Yeah,
that's true. The Earthrise 2-pack, one with a character that doesn't exist anymore, and one that does.
I wonder if you watched that scene and he actually got mad.
Oh, some people have speculated that the green and blue Seeker that just shows up for no reason, because it's obviously not Acid Storm. We have an Acid Storm. Could be Wasp.
That's an interesting twist.
Like animated Wasp?
Beast Wars.
Oh, Waspinator. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, we were actually speaking of twisting Beast Wars characters. We were mentioned this earlier that like because throughout the show, Elita 1 has been kind of getting on Optimus is getting on Elita 1's nerves, and you can kind of tell like she's like getting really annoyed with this guy, and it's
Black
like
Arachnia.
Weird. Yeah, exactly. We were mentioned that the twist was, season 3 she comes back, but she's Black Arachnia.
I don't know. They take a lot of influences from different things. Am I the only one who's tired of the Allspark coming back?
Honestly.
I mean, at least it's, I don't know, it's the designs. I'm not gonna say it's new.
I mean, at least they have like their own like concrete design now for the Allspark rather than it's just a cube. No, it turned out to be a 20-sided die.
Yeah, but I agree. It is kind of it's been used to death now for the past how many years? Like it's 2007, right? So like past 13 years of knowledge of the Allspark, and it's been in every incarnation.
It's been in the movies. It's been in animated. It's been in Prime. It's been in Cyberverse. It's been in this current series.
Yeah, sure. But it's going to be the MacGuffin, and odds are when future content comes out, that will also still be the big MacGuffin as well.
It'll be shaped like a lion. I don't know.
Poor Vector Sigma.
It's gonna be shaped like a bionicle canister.
I really wish that they would try something new with like a MacGuffin like the Allspark. Like I wish they tried to like come up with something
They did try
different.
something new with the MacGuffin, but only this one was kind of like the MacGuffin is knowledge.
Well, yeah, I mean, aside from the Alpha Trion protocol, because at first off, that was just stupid.
Us the whole time.
But I mean, like, I'm talking about like different. Like, this is where I go into a little bit of very debated type, controversial conversation here when it comes to the Prime Wars trilogy. I liked the Matrix of Chaos because first off, it was its first appearance, and two, while it was kind of like a plot device, this was a relic that manifested the power of Unicron in a sense.
It's not its first appearance.
Matrix of Chaos?
Yeah, it was in Rise of the Dark Spark.
We don't talk about that.
Well, that's
I completely forgot that there was an evil Matrix in the Machinima series. Then again, the Machinima series is very forgettable.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's,
but no, you're not wrong, Brian. Yeah, the whole Dark Spark thing. But that was just more like a, I don't even know what to really call that. Yeah, it was an antithesis to the Matrix, but like, really, it was just like, it was Shadow the Hedgehog's chaos control. Like, it just froze time for a little bit.
Just screw the Dark Spark in general. Not even just the item, just that whole game.
I don't know. I think the Cybertron bits were fun, but like
it's the only good parts.
Yeah, the Earth bits sucked. The whole fight with Lockdown was such a disappointment.
I like how you're like, oh, we don't talk about it. All I did was mention that it was in that game, and now you're on about it.
Because it's like, I liked it, but the more I think about it, and the more I remember how much hate it got, even though like everyone was like super hyped when it was first teased, because it's like, yeah, multiversal Transformers game, and then when it came out, it's like everyone's shitting on it to no end.
I was not.
It's just like, I don't want to
see. I was not. I understand some hype when it comes to games. I couldn't understand any hype for that one because it was put together. All the Age of Extinction characters look like garbage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
in which I understand their part because the odds are they didn't get like they only got the concept arts and they're like, all right, here, make character models off the few concept art we have. That's why Optimus looks slightly different. Bumblebee looks slightly different. Grimlock.
That's why the toys look slightly different.
God, every stock image for Age of Extinction Optimus Prime just looks awful.
Yeah. God, every time I think about it, the more I think about that game, the more I get really mad.
Let's stop talking about it then. Let's keep it happy.
Yeah, are we on a Siege stream? Let's talk about Siege.
Yeah, but I wish they would try something new. Like they would actually really experiment. Like, spoilers for Rescue Bots Academy, they introduced a thing called the multicog, which actually allows them to like transform into more than one thing, and it's not one specific character. It's actually like the whole team. So like they actually have like multi-forms and everything. Like I thought that was kind of cool.
You know what they should avoid is if they're going to do the or whatever that thing is again, they should have a Transformers toy that transforms normally, but then using that you could plug it in somewhere. Maybe it's got a magnet or something. And deploys a certain part that will allow you to transform it into another thing.
Oh, God, imagine losing that.
Oh, yeah, if you lost that, you're fucked.
Isn't that like the thing with Primus and Cybertron toys, that if you lose the Omega
Lock? If you lost the Omega Lock, then you couldn't...
If characters have one, then it wouldn't be so much of an issue, because you might have like 10 of them. But yeah. I'm just thinking out loud, that'd be kind of an because Transformers toys have done that before. It wasn't the Power Masters or Breast Masters similar to that?
The Power Masters allowed you to transform the body and everything. Yeah. It allowed you to transform the figure, so. Kind of wish I brought that back, but at least we kind of got that with Double Dealer if you got the third unit of the Soundwave Spy Patrol from Generation Selects.
And the Power Master Combiner Wars Optimus, I guess, technically.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, just the whole Allspark thing. It's like, yeah, I kind of knew it was coming, but at least it didn't feel like Cyberverse in a sense. But it still kind of did.
I just wish they had 9 at least, but I don't know.
Wait, what?
I wish they had a different design. They probably just took it straight from Cyberverse, but
It seems like it. I think it's fine. I just hope that they do something else. Like I feel like if they sat down and they were talking about like different relics or different things they can make, dude, that looks dope. They could probably come up with some really cool ideas. Like, oh, I know something I want to see from IDW show up in a cartoon. Cyborg, please get on the same page with me about this, but what if we had the Magnificence show up?
Yeah, that'd be cool. I mean, especially like if you know like what the Magnificence really is, that'd be an interesting little item MacGuffin to play with. And the whole thing with like, we're starting to get, the Transformers are starting to get repetitive and everything like, Cyberverse and this one I have a lot of similarities. I think once we hit Earthrise, once again, why I'm kind of excited more for that now is because like when we get on Earth, that's where like it doesn't have the history of the Transformers and Cybertron, that's always kind of be like the same thing over and over. But now that we're on Earth, they can totally do something different. Like, who knows who they're going to meet on Earth or they're going to fight on Earth? What if they just show up and like, oh no, like it's like we're on Earth and crap, now we have to fight the Quintessence for some goddamn reason because Earthrise toy line. And like we can. There's so much I think they can do because like there's no set event on Earth that has to happen. Just unlike Cybertron, where there's a set event where like they have to find the Allspark and it has to leave the planet. We've now passed that point. Now
what if it sucks? What if it sucked when the Allspark is on Earth and it's in Hoover Dam?
I would be like, I would not be like ha ha ha, funny. Like, oh, speaking of which, they've been near the end of Siege. Are like, oh no, we must go to Sector 7.
Sector 7, yeah.
Sector 7,
I thought that too.
I'm like, yeah, I get it. But yeah, if it is Hoover Dam, that's gonna be a very big like, man, like that's it's not a. You're not trying to hide it, are you? Or, we're doing it based off this movie that everyone liked back in 2007.
Yeah.
But whatever, like it could be anywhere. That's what I liked about Cyberverse, that they totally twisted it. Like the Allspark was just in a cave, being guarded by Cheetor. That was such a weird twist, and I see Earthrise doing that with this season too, but just something else.
I think for the Earthrise series upcoming, which by the way reminds me because of the end credit, I'm glad that Miles Luna is in Transformers. But anyway, I'm curious that if in Earthrise, if Scorponok shows up, I wonder if Zarek is going to be a main character or a prominent character in the series.
Zarek as in the headmaster from Scorponok?
Yes.
They could they could totally twist it on the if it's all about Earth, in the IDW comics it's someone else. Like in the comics they do go Zarek first in one issue, but Ultra Magnus stops him and he has to go to Earth to try to do the same thing. But instead it's this cowboy like business owner who I can't remember his name, but they do it where like he owns a corporation called Machination, and it is like he's a business owner by day, but at night he's Scorponok's head, and they work together. So they can totally twist it to where Scorponok's just there, just like, hey, oh shit, like Cybertronians on Earth. I've been planning this mega corporation to take over the Earth slowly, and now the Autobots are here. Gonna have to bring in my giant Scorpion City.
Yeah, true. I mean, Scorponok is in the Earthrise toy line, so it's possible.
Oh god, bring in Skylinks. That'd be great.
Oh fuck yeah, dude! I would love to see Skylinks back on.
I feel like a lot of characters are just gonna show up in Earthrise, just like they did with the Siege series.
Just like G1
is gonna be here, and Sunstreaker is gonna be here. I feel like some of the characters, like Skylinks and maybe even Zarek, will be trapped or captured by the Quintessence.
That's true. Yeah, Quintessence. Because I also, what we mentioned earlier that we were talking about. I guess we didn't mention the stream, but so the ending is very ominous. Of like, ooh, like alert, mysterious object or mysterious vessel approaching, and like a lot of people were like, ooh, the Nemesis maybe. But my first thought was like, oh, is it the corkscrew Quintessa ship that they have? And because with the Quintessons being shoved in the Earthrise, it's possible that maybe even though the show's called Earthrise, maybe they don't even start on Earth immediately. They're like they wake up from stasis and they're already on trial. And like, whoa, hold on, what's going on here? And
I think Earthrise is the travel to Earth, not necessarily on Earth.
That's a good point. Yeah,
You think they're going to do like a Exiles type story where it's like they stop at different planets or something and then go to Earth?
That's the thing. Yeah, I guess like it's possible. I guess like if we see more of what Kingdom is, it'll give us a better idea of what Earthrise really is. Because we know like the toy line, the Earthrise is they have their Earth modes now.
Still makes me upset.
Which
instantly go from Cybertron to Earth.
Yeah, and they can still do that in the show too. Like maybe like what Brian said, it could just be like the last part is like they get to Earth and they like we have to disguise ourselves and then
see. I'm thinking like when Kingdom comes around, because I could have sworn somewhere it's like I read that they were gonna like deal with time travel, so they're gonna like I guess travel into the future to meet the Maximals and Predacons, I suppose. Past. Sorry. Wait. No, because they're their ancestors. Oh wait. Yeah. So wait, they were before.
Well, this is going to be a different continuity to G1.
Oh yeah, you're true. You're very. That's very true. I guess I wasn't thinking about that. Curse my Transformers knowledge sometimes. But anyway, yeah, I think they'll probably travel back in time, and then they'll team up with the Maximals. The Decepticons will team up with the Predacons. We might see Galvatron again because apparently he's going to be involved in it.
Which I guess the question is he going to be a post Megatron or is Galvatron his own dude?
Dude, I kind of hope they go the IDW route and make him like his own thing.
I also kind of hope they just be like,
because I'm tired.
Megatron. Because they show on that poster that the split face, and you can see that his actual face is prominently Megatron.
Yeah.
The helmet around it is Galvatron.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Which, if anything, it'd be good. Actually, it'd also be kind of smart if it is the Megatron to Galvatron, because now if they do Kingdom and there's then another Megatron, we don't need to be like, oh no, now there's a Megatron, a Galvatron, and another Megatron. It's just
triple threat. Give you some like Robot Master vibes.
Megatron. No, I'm Megatron. That's Galvatron. Oh god. Okay, watch out for Megatron. Which one? That one or this one? It's so that would be
this whole talk already. It reminds me very much of that old Transformers cartoon, Transformers Robot Masters, where it's like the three Optimuses or the three convoys teamed up, where it's like Optimus Prime from G1 universe, Beast Wars Optimus Primal, and then Lio Convoy, and then the double Megatrons teamed up. It was Beast Wars Megatron and then Reverse Convoy.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of gives me that type of vibe. But at the same time, there's another vibe that it also kind of gives me. It was like the old Transformers PS2 game that was only released in Japan called Call of the Future, where it's like Megatron teams up with Galvatron and then Optimus teams up with Rodimus. And then there's also Earth Wars, where it's like G1 Megatron teams up with Armada Megatron and Beast Wars Megatron.
Can I just quickly mention that Star Battle 2099, he mentioned something about Zarek and the Quintessons. I feel like it's also possible that Zarek could be a part of the Quintessons, or could be helping them in some way, but is convinced to work with Megatron. Or maybe he still works with the Quintessons, and then for the toy's sake, they just left on the Decepticon logos, much like they did with Sound Blaster.
Right.
That's true. So does that mean the Quintessons are their own faction as well?
I mean, I would say like that's.
Oh, I forgot the mercenaries. The ship could also be the mercenaries.
That's
I was thinking the Nemesis, or
yeah. I don't think it's the Nemesis. I feel like it's going to be too early for them to do the Nemesis.
No. I was saying I was thinking it's either the Nemesis, and I was talking to Cyborg about this earlier, or because the space bridge is capable of traveling not only through space but also through time. What if it was the Axelon?
It'd be weird.
The ship of the Maximals.
Well, again, time and continuities with the original series. This is its own continuity, so you can't look at every previous continuity and think, oh, it's going to go this way, because it could go.
But I mean, nothing's wrong with speculating.
Everything's wrong with speculating. I'm unsurprised.
Another option it could be because of this whole like alternate. Like Optimus Prime thing. What if it's actually just another arc and they go on ship and everyone's either dead and they see the dead body of Optimus Prime that for the new toy.
Right, we know that the sleep mode Optimus is somehow in the continuity.
Yeah, it is. Isn't it?
Yeah, because they talked about that during Yeah, because they talked about that during Fan First Friday. They said that it was probably going to play a part in the cartoon. So
So maybe
don't exactly know how.
doing a Lost Light situation where it's now there's 2 arcs, but
I was thinking Lost Light or like maybe like Marvel Zombies type deal where it's like Optimus is dead, but you know.
But Bumblebee's a zombie.
Oh no!
Which, by the way, they already pretty much. I feel like this is probably going to be spoilers for the future of the show. So just heads up to that. I feel like they already spoiled how they kill off Unicron. I feel like Unicron's definitely going to be in the show because that's kind of a big thing, a big deal with the toy line. But they already hinted it with Dark Energon and zombies. And then what was the thing that wiped out the zombies? The Allspark. So I feel like the Allspark's going to be the thing that kills off Unicron.
I mean, that's totally fair. Like that seems very predictable, especially like and then like it'll be like, oh, like if we do that, we'll have to destroy the Allspark. It'd be like, oh, we have no other choice. We have to destroy Unicron. I actually, to be honest, I completely forgot about Unicron because I forgot about that toy. Honestly,
I think maybe the golden disc predicts Unicron.
Oh shit!
Ooh.
Oh hell yeah! I'd be down for that.
Yeah, because doesn't the golden disc like hold like elements of the future, like inscribed in it?
Yes.
I forgot, but I just remember that like that a part of it was like Megatron's transmission to be like, I may have fucked up. If you're reading this, I probably did.
I'm also a vampire for some reason.
I'm also voiced by Gary Chalk.
If for any reason Ravage becomes Russian, please send a message to him. Anyway,
Here's a big poopy head.
All right, I'm running out of
All right,
sticks.
running out of time. Decepticons
I'm running out of
forever. Great. That was the one time where actually Gary Chalk voiced both Optimus and Megatron. I thought that was neat.
Very strange.
Strange.
Sometimes it's hard for me to separate that Gary Chalk he's Optimus Primal, but then he was Optimus Prime for the Armada trilogy. I don't know why I can't it's like I need to keep that in mind. They're the same guy, even though there's no change or anything. But for some reason, I can't have that. I can't separate that.
Ooh, I just thought of a repaint for a Waspinator figure. Starscream colors.
Oh hell yeah!
Ooh, maybe for a Selects figure. I want my Selects Pack Rat though.
Pack Rat. Oh yeah, the dude from the like the Cybertron Most Wanted pack.
Repaint. And I want Antagony as well. Inferno repaint.
That's the Inferno repaint. Yep.
If they do Inferno, and if it is the Inferno, the Predacon, like because they can. If the fact that we have grapples as a toy means
if we end up,
yeah.
I feel like we're gonna get Inferno. We have to. It would be injustice if we didn't. Honestly,
like, do you think
I may sound super entitled with that, but like, damn it,
Inferno, the Voyager or Inferno the Deluxe, like as in the fire truck or the fire ant.
The thing is that there was a rumor listing about a whole bunch of Transformers, like Wave 1 of Earthrise. We haven't even gotten a good list of Earthrise Wave 4 yet.
Yeah,
if we're getting a Wave 4.
Wave 4?
Yes, they're doing the Wave 4.
Wow. Because we know it's technically in Wave 3.
A while back that Earthrise apparently has four waves. I can't quote it exactly. I could be wrong.
Does it mean like
that's what they were doing? But some of the things in Kingdom just doesn't sound right. There was one listing that does sound pretty right. Like there was a Rodimus and an Optimus Primal or something. But there's also some conflicting ones. Like there was one that said G1 Inferno, and then there were multiple other random characters that never have been named. And then
they also mentioned like, movie Grimlock with Wheelie, but now because like the idea is that Studio Series is now jumping into
Studio Series is doing the G1 stuff. Yeah,
which we still hasn't. We still haven't like really officially heard that yet, though.
True. Which
those are different.
But then again,
those are different listings. Those are coming off of Walmart.com, and a lot of the stuff that we heard became true. That's the Walmart website. What I'm talking about is a listing that someone had just put up on TFW 2005 that had no real source of anything. And for most of what we heard, we already knew about. It just feels like for the listing that I'm talking about, they also put a bunch of their own guesses to see if they're going to be right. There was Tracks and there was Inferno on that listing. And then a bunch of other...
You're talking about the one that also had, like, Studio Series, AoE, Optimus, and
No,
Skyward?
I'm not talking about Studio Series. I'm talking about, Kingdom. I'm talking about Kingdom, not Earthrise. Kingdom.
Sorry about that.
I'm not talking about...
I think we were talking about that. It was
No,
purely...
because, I mean, I saw a post on Instagram where it was, like, a similar list, but, like, they also had, like, predictions for Studio Series as well as Kingdom, as well as Gen Selects. Like, there's Gen Selects Toxitron.
We have listings for Studio Series. I'm talking to, and a lot of them come from Walmart.com. We also had a bunch of Earthrise stuff, and we had a pretty good listing for Kingdom with a bunch of name drops. And this is when we were hearing about Kingdom, but then we also have a new listing that had a Mutant Rodimus Prime, a Trax, an Inferno. And 2 random characters that we never knew about. The listing conflicted with other things because we were supposed to get a Leader Megatron based on the Beast Wars. We were supposed to get a Voyager class Dinobot. I don't know if that was mentioned as the first wave, but if it is, those are conflicting things. So I'm just bringing it up because it was mentioned that we could have a G1 style Inferno. I don't know when that is, but we might not get it in the first wave of Kingdom. We could still get an Earthrise for its last wave or Selects.
All right.
Confused? There will be a test on this.
I kind of wonder. I guess we can take down the whole spoilers from here on out now, unless we're going to still talk a little bit more about
should we just say just to finish off, like, our basic answers for our basic Siege opinion is?
Okay. Actually, there are a couple more things I did want to kind of talk about, like the constant defections that happen in the show.
You lost me. Oh, that's
like
right. That's right.
Like defects. The people that defected. Like
Moonracer.
Oh yeah, we spoke about her. Sadly, she did nothing wrong. She was there for like not even a minute, and she just was there to die.
Me too, because I thought that was Chromia.
Thank you. Actually, in the same thing in the stream, I also mentioned, like, wait, why is Chromia here, and why is she British for some reason?
Why is she named Moonracer? Did they swap that out? Or Chromia's right there. Oh, okay. What?
Yeah, that's where I'm like, because like it's not like the toy model doesn't exist. We do have a Moonracer, and it's not even like that figure alone is also a remold of or retool of Chromia, so it's not like it's impossible to give him a new head. That's when I'm like, ooh, that's kind of lazy.
I did a video called "That's Not Chromia," and it's just a spoof on the whole Moonracer remold type thing and how it comes back to Chromia. And at some point, my voice does a weird thing because I'm trying to do a girl's voice, and it says, what was it? Should I just play the clip? I can't remember.
I can if you want to.
Moonracer. It's not even Moonracer. Do you think we all look the same because we're female?
Yes. When I do that female, that's my actual voice. I didn't do anything to alter it. I don't know why my voice did that. I just wanted to quickly mention that. But yeah,
it's funny.
Basically, I just made a spoof about the whole thing because that confused the hell out of me.
It was definitely something that had me confused because it's like all of a sudden name drop is there. It's like, wait, Moonracer? What are you doing here? Where are you? Who are you? Oh, I thought you were Chromia.
I was upset because
until I saw like she was like a.
And then he said Moonracer. I'm like, what?
This is like we know Chromia was already established. We saw her in like the first episode, and then we saw we have Alita 1 and RC who just kind of pop up. Well, Alita showed up obviously, but like Chromia and RC just kind of popped up out of nowhere, and then Moonracer shows up, and then she's just like a slightly greenish version of Chromia. It's like, at first, when I first saw her driving with the Autobots, I was like, wait, is that Chromia? Because it looks like Chromia's vehicle mode. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, wait, so now when we're at the Sparkless pit, we get to see what she actually looks like. Oh, that is
Michael, I'm putting another link in the private chat. Someone, this is the official Takara Transformers Twitter, but they posted Ramjet and Dirge.
I don't know. I don't. Oh, yeah, I saw the post from FC203 on Instagram. They look so good.
Oh my god. I want Michael.
I hate the stupid screaming face on Dirge, though. God damn it.
I will say it's kind of funny.
It's like Skyward. He has that stupid fucking. Oh, I have my own money I need to use. Sorry. I'm still waiting on that impact to ship you. I'll talk about that later.
But anyways, I find it.
What was I trying to? Oh yeah, the defection.
Ironhide's chest looks like the third-party figure. Ironhide's chest in this Earthrise figure looks like the
you talking about the? The weapons specialist one?
I think so, yeah.
Forgot the name of it. It was like a Voyager Ironhide. Yeah. Yeah, I see it too. The defections of characters. I very much think that Jetfire's defection was very interesting. I felt more kind of like Drift. Didn't really feel like Jetfire to me, personally. I do like it, though. It was a nice play on the whole Fire in the Sky defection, where it's like Skyfire didn't exactly agree with the Decepticon way, and he's like, I'm an Autobot now, after 10 minutes. But this one actually took like an episode and kind of like panned out a little more, and it's like, you see Jetfire become more and more hesitant and skeptical about like how the Decepticons are, why he's part of the faction. And he finally has like a confrontation with Skywarp, who he inevitably kills, and then Starscream calls him out on his shit. Is like, this bitch is a traitor. And Megatron's like questioning Jetfire. He's obviously like, it's like, did you actually kill Skywarp, or are you just fucking with me? Like, he's like, no, I did it. It's like, you bastard.
You got me.
It's like, yep, red-handed. I'm right here. You want to fight me though? Deal with my missiles.
Yeah, my first watch of it, I couldn't, like, I didn't really get to, I didn't understand, like, it didn't seem natural, the Jetfire turn. Maybe because, like, once again, I was watching with people and we were talking over and stuff, but, like, throughout the time, I'm like, you know, it just seemed kind of like, oh, and now he suddenly hates the idea of Decepticons and he twisted. Rewatching it again, you for sure actually do see, you know, it gets less subtle and subtle as it gets to the point, but like, I don't know, part of me just kind of feel like it doesn't seem enough for him to change. Like, it's just so the main reason for changing is things are like, I don't like the way Megatron's doing this. I'm going to change on everything I believe in and go on the other side. And I know that I'm making it more simple than it really is, like, because it's he's like, oh, he's doing it dishonorably, and like now he's committing genocide. I didn't sign up for that shit. And which I understand that, but part of me kind of feels like it does seem just sudden. It's like, I'm twisting it now. I'm on that side.
Yeah. They still kind of like drew it out a little bit though.
Yeah. So say like, it's not like it's not as sudden as I thought it was my first showing. It's for sure the breadcrumbs are there, but even then afterwards it is kind of like, and change. I feel like there could have been at least one or two more parts where Jetfire is like, I'm starting to really not like this idea, guys. But it was kind of only small parts, and then suddenly, big reveal, I'm changing it. Bye, Skywarp.
My poor boy.
Yeah. And like,
I love Starscream, but my second favorite Seeker, my poor boy.
And
if it was like Thundercracker, it'd be a different story.
Which Thundercracker was not relevant in this one. I mean,
not really. He only showed up once or a couple times, really, and then he just did one thing, and then
yeah. I mean, I'm not expecting, this show doesn't have Thundercracker speaking. What a terrible performance! But it's not. I still kind of like it's just kind of like a bummer
because it's a voice, but it's just he didn't do it.
Yeah, of the three of them, he's the one I enjoy the most. thanks to the comics, and it's kind of like, oh man, kind of would hope you, especially he gets his, he's part of the main toy line in Siege, but yeah, he doesn't get a performance actually in the show. Skyward gets it,
Poor
but, yeah,
Thundercracker, useless as ever.
poor guy.
I like my Thundercracker.
You can like your Thundercracker. I can take him or leave him. I'll stick with Skywarp. At least he does more shit than anyone.
The other
Scream's good and all, but he's just your basic dude with a null ray.
Yeah.
IDW says otherwise. He could be the mascot of IDW. Thundercracker.
In that, but I'm just mainly talking about like through the G1 continuity. Like Thundercracker didn't really do a lot.
Oh,
Thundercracker's
Precious.
I don't know why. I don't care for Thundercracker. It's like, what's his gimmick? Oh, he has supersonic jet engines that crack the sky. Cool. What does Starscream do? Oh, he has paralyzing null rays. Still love him. Very cool character, but that's kind of basic. What does Skywarp do? He fucking teleports.
No,
that's cool.
You've all been deceived.
So,
you've all been lied to. It's a magic trick. It's smoke and mirrors.
But when it came to like getting back onto it, when it came to like the defection of characters, like Jetfire's, I think was done fairly well. I'm not going to say it was like groundbreaking or it was like super different. It felt very Drift-ish, kind of like Deadlock versus Deadlock and Drift. But I think it was portrayed adequately. I definitely like the whole the thing, like the bargaining with like Jetfire is kind of like, if you don't trust, you don't have to like me, but believe what I'm saying. And it's like, if you want me to go on this mission, I want you to do something. What was it? Core Override? Like the thing from the comics where it's like you put a bomb inside their brain module. Like that was a nice IDW callback because that was a thing. That was a very big thing back then. And it was neat to see that actually be implanted. So, I mean, that was cool. I can't really call Impactor a defect because, I mean, he didn't really go with the Autobots. He literally said, it's like, I'm doing this for the people of Cybertron. Because he was a patriot.
At that point, like, for him, it was like, I'm just going to go with Ratchet because wherever Ratchet goes, I go because he saved my life. And like for Impactor, that's another time where I'm like, so like the whole what made him kind of like stop the Decepticon thing is when he sees all the damaged dudes in the Autobot base. He's just like, I didn't think Megatron would be as painful, like as bad as this. But I'm like, I'm pretty sure this guy's seen. He probably saw all the pikes, the stick pikes, and all the dead bodies on the side. Like, so he'd drive by that and be like, oh yeah, that's a good thing to see. Good job, Decepticons. We did good today. And like also they were just as damaged as the people in Ratchet's shop, and he didn't think any differently from there. I wonder like why specifically in the Autobot base, like, oh no, we're hurting you a lot more than we thought. God, maybe the Decepticons aren't the good guys. And like it's kind of like my more thing. Another reason why I think Impactor and this incarnation was kind of like robbed from the Impactor that from we know from the comics is like these are clearly not the same characters. Of like he just seems like a basic dude. It could have been anyone portraying this part. It could have been it could have been Misfire. It could have been Trigger Happy, and it would have been the same character. But because it's because we have a toy of Impactor, because of some the contest that people voted for, it's Impactor. Mm-hmm. If it was the same thing but Needle Nose, it would have been nothing would have changed the story wise. So I was kind of sad. Like once again, like no Wrecker mentioned, like no hint to like a possible future because he's dead. It's kind of like shame. Crap. Maybe actually, I wonder. I don't really also like his design in the show, and neither did the toy. But isn't there a pack, like the actual pack, the Mirage Impactor pack, that he has a whole different head?
Yep. He has the
Man.
IDW head, and then he also has Aragon, one of the original Power Masters.
That's
Not Power Masters, sorry, Power Dashers.
He has doesn't he have like construction tape on him?
Yep.
See, that's cool. I want more. I wanted that. Who knows? There's been twisted more than that.
Kind of bothers me with the whole fucking thing with Netflix Impactor, where it's like, oh, he's a toy, but he has the Autobot logo on him still, even though he's a Decepticon. It's like he never defected to the Autobots. He just went with Ratchet.
But that's that part. It's like the toy of Impact, like for Siege, the Siege toy line. It's because like we're doing it for the show, but also we're doing it because just because people want a toy of this character, and he is he is an Autobot in most incarnations. But for
but I mean, like for the actual Netflix line, he still has a stupid Autobot insignia.
Yeah, that's kind of like especially at that point, there really is nothing different with that toy compared to the regular Impactor. That's
true.
So that's kind of sucks. And then that's the same with like most of Wave 1 of the show toy line of you can get Sideswipe but a little bit dirtier, or Chromia but a little bit dirtier, and Hound but you'll break his head off. Still
never had any issues with mine.
That's why I actually almost picked him up, but then I heard all like the horror stories of like if you get Hound, you'll probably break his head. I'm like, I don't want that.
This is why I don't rotate certain joints like that on my toys. They just stay the same position all the time. But that's beside the point.
Well, speaking of Hound, is it kind of weird? Like, I guess it makes more sense in the show, but Mirage stole his gimmick of holograms, which I guess
true.
That makes more sense, I guess, because Mirage is like the name is like I'm creating a Mirage, but instead of going invisible, he's just making shadow clones. Which I watching it again today, I noticed like the clones were shooting back, like, and it seemed that they were doing damage. So can his clones also just fight back physically?
Well, if it's anything like Robots in Disguise 2015 with like the whole hard light hologram type deal, I think that's kind of what they're doing.
Like that's so OP. That's a one-man army right there. You should bring him in on more missions.
Like
I keep making this joke all the time, and I don't know where I heard this line from originally, but I just... Oh, wait, no, I know where I heard it from. It was from fucking Power Rangers Ninja Storm. I just like how literally Mirage is like 1 to the power of 3. He just like has 2 more clones, and he's fighting Reflector. Thought that was great.
I still need to find the figure.
Which one?
Mirage.
I have a spare.
I feel like now we have a reason. Like I was actually thinking, like, are we going to see Mirage as a Decepticon and he's also going to turn? But no, it was actually just a Mirage the whole time.
Wasn't Can I just quickly say, wasn't your spare just like one of the logos were off-center?
Yeah, but it was bugging my OCD to no end.
Oh.
So I mean, he's yours if you want him. I haven't made a post yet, but still, I can talk about it later.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I liked Mirage. I liked Sideswipe. They were both basic Autobots, but at least like they kind of stayed true to what they were. I mean, I kind of wish Mirage was still hesitant about like fighting and everything because he's kind of like a pacifist. He doesn't really like fighting. I mean, he's no First Aid where he's like, I don't like fighting completely. Mirage will fight when he has to, but I still would have liked that aspect to play through as his character in this. But even if it sounds like
a thing. That's why Mirage had to step up.
Oh.
Yeah, I was mentioned too. Like it seemed kind of forced to be like, remember the contest you did 2 years ago? Aren't you set? Like, are you happy that we got these guys instead of Needle Nose and Trax? Yes.
Hope they show up in the final wave of Earthrise.
I mean, that's something like Spinster and Wheeljack get their appearances anyway.
Yeah.
Rooster, Wheeljack, and I think another. If what I was talking about earlier with the names, Trax, if that is coming out, well, there you go. That's the other one. So it's just Needle Nose.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which Needle, like I see a lot like of those 3 collaborations when they did this whole thing to begin with. I was kind of like, who's asking for Needle Nose? Like, and I see Trax like both Trax and Wheeljack at the time haven't really got Generations figures since way back in like Generations 2014 or 13 or whatever, with their big old clunky feet. So I understand people can ask for a new Trax, but I don't see any fans be like, Oh, thank God, Needle Nose. Oh, finally.
I think it's because Needle Nose is so, I don't know, generic looking, kind of. I just, every time I picture a toy for him, I look back to Dreadwinged and Blackwing, and I feel like those two characters would be a little more, I guess, unique compared to Needle Nose. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm still over here waiting for the rest of my Autobot Target Masters. I want Sure Shot and I want Point Blank, but probably not going to happen.
Yeah, I don't know why they did Battlemasters, but they did almost none of the original Target Master wielders. Like all they did was Crosshairs and Spinster.
Well, I mean, to be fair, we already had Trigger Happy, Misfire, and Slugslinger in Titan's Return, and then we got their Target Masters in this.
Where they're prominent, and now Crosshairs and Spinster were the only two to show up.
Right. Well, I mean, I'm hoping at some point that, because we could get them. I'd like to believe we'd get them. Like, I really think a beneficial use of that punch counterpunch mold, even if it isn't 100% accurate, would be Point Blank, because he does have those like car shoulders and everything if he's in counterpunch's robot mode.
What if in the later Netflix series we get them?
If we do, and they come with their Target Masters, I will be happy. And if not, then we're just stuck with Crosshairs.
We'll cry.
Yeah, I don't know about you. I probably will.
I will cry tears of acid.
But I just be nice, you know. I mean, I don't see anything wrong with it, but you know, whatever. But I guess in terms of Siege, you know, it's definitely a good show. It's definitely one that we've needed for a little while, if I personally say. Definitely needed something like this for a very long time, because it's like we kind of had a taste of it with Transformers Prime, but we couldn't go too far because this is a TV show. This is going to be seen for kids on TV screens. Here, it's like this is Netflix only. If you have Netflix, you can watch it, and we can go as far as we want.
Wheeljack say ass.
Which someone
we had Ratchet say damn.
Someone had made a point that it's kind of funny that he says ass, but throughout the rest of the show, they just use the regular Transformers swears.
Yeah, which that's a good point, because once again, when I was watching with a bunch of my friends who have no care for Transformers, they also pointed out, like, wait, do Transformers have asses? Like, do they know what an ass is? And I'm like, because usually in other shows they'd be like, oh, like you're a pain in my asset, or you know, my tailpipe. I'm like, this is like they ass is in the vocabulary. That's awesome.
I think Wheeljack has invented the pooper, and that's why.
Okay, what an incredible.
I like Impactor's line, even though it's not a cuss word. I just like the fact that he just flat out says, "Then how are we supposed to hide a freaking space bridge?"
He invented the butthole, and after Taco Bell, it's going to explode. Haha.
I hope we get a little bit more of that, but not like over the top like Prime Wars trilogy, where it's like we had Megatron say like, you know, we lost, god damn you, or oh shit. It's like it's starting to piss me off. It's like it wasn't that bad, but like this is kind of funny.
Ah shit, what are we gonna do now?
Ah shit, what are we gonna do?
Open.
Remember when Soundwave
Damn
said the
it,
N-word?
open. Wait, what?
Remember when Soundwave said the N-word?
Yes.
No.
Great, because it never happened.
Couldn't go along with it.
Do
you remember when Megatron said bitch in the comics? I don't even. That sounds like it would be possible with all the comics going around Japan.
Yeah, there's a lot of cussing in the comics.
Yeah, they don't care. You know, they'll say,
like,
they say like, "What's up, man?" And to which they would probably reply, "What's a man?"
Yeah. Forgot which one that was from.
I remember one time where Predaking came out and he said, "Bitch, I'm not Voltron." So
I remember when Predaking came out, he said, "I'm gay." He came out.
oh, I'm good. Oh, look at me.
That explains why I'm combined with 5 dudes. So I guess
we're getting 2.5 hours here, so let's wrap up this Siege talk.
Yeah.
Come on.
Overall thoughts in terms of Siege, I think it was a good, a new take on Transformers. Obviously it's very G1 pure, but it has the elements of obvious war. Like it might just be me personally saying this, but I kind of get like a very, very minuscule, like Saving Private Ryan type vibe, where it's like D-Day and they're fighting for their lives, and there's a lot of shit going on. It feels very much like an actual war story.
It feels a lot like Halo to me because I like Halo.
Obviously, it's like it's not real, obviously, but it pertains that realistic type approach to like a war story. Like you actually feel for these characters to a degree. You cannot give a shit about them, obviously, but I think honestly, for what it's worth, it's worth checking out. I mean, there are a lot of moments where I personally was like, "Holy crap, this is actually happening! This character's in this. What the hell's going on?"
I demand more starting with RC.
Yeah. A lot of interesting, unique ideas. I like the whole idea of the weaponizers just being legitimate weaponizers. Like, there's no actual there's no actual alt mode for them other than they're just a weapons pack, like a weapons assortment, or they basically have an artillery mode more so than they have.
No weapons, okay? And then he scans them, and I'm just like, you realize who that is.
Yeah. I really the show definitely is not perfect. That goes without saying. There are definitely some flaws to this show, but
I just feel like people are against the show, and some people are a little too harsh on it. Some people expect big things from it. I didn't expect big things from it. And yeah, it would be nice if we had a better show, but I think for what we got, it's not that bad.
It's like you said earlier, Transformers are not going to be able to win at this point because everyone wants something, and when it doesn't meet their expectations, they shit on it.
It's like what someone said, I can't remember. People can tell you what they want, but they don't know what they want.
Yeah. I mean, that's basically the best way to put it. Like, I can understand a lot of people getting upset about Peter Cullen and Frank Welker not voicing in this. And there is a legitimate reason to it, and Hasbro kind of fucked them with this whole thing.
Yes, but my point is also that people should get over that because they are not going to voice him forever anyways.
No, that's true, but, like, there's this unsaid rule that, like, if the voice actors are willing to do the voices, they should be allowed to do the voices.
Yeah, but that's also not their choice, too, you know?
Yeah, I know, but I still think, like, I don't know, me personally, I was fine with Jake Fushi and Jason Marnocha. I thought they did great, honestly. I mean, Jake obviously still needs more work as Optimus, and he needs to make it his own rather than make it sound like Peter Cullen. But I just think Hasbro or Rooster, whoever did it, going behind the backs of like the veteran voice actors for something cheaper was just kind of like, I get what you're trying to do. That's fine, but also maybe, you know, there could have been a way. You know, I get Peter Cullen and Frank are pretty expensive when it comes to voice acting, personally, from what information's out there. But like, it wouldn't have been that bad to have them in. Like, it would have been nice, but I see what they're doing. They're kind of trying to tell us it's like, yeah, you're gonna have to get used to this because Frank Welker, I think he's younger than Peter Cullen by like 2 years, so I think he's 77, and then Peter just turned 79, so they're as good as they look age-wise. They're not going to be forever, and people need to understand and accept that. As sad as that is, welcome to life. How are you? I think a lot of the voice direction in the show was pretty bad. Like I said, they all have like this whole Captain Tiberius Kirk from Star Trek syndrome. It's like they always have to pause just to be like, we say something like this, it shows that we have depth. It shows that we have emotion. It shows we're serious. It's like, that's...
Gritty.
Yeah. It's just... the voice director who made these choices needs to take notes and understand you can call your show an anime, but it doesn't have to actually be like that.
I think that's the Rooster Teeth thing, because they call Ruby an anime, and it's like, is it really an anime, though?
I mean, that's a whole other thing. I personally say yes, but that's just me. Anyway, you know, I mean, there were definitely a couple scenes that made it feel like an anime, like the whole thing with Impactor, his final hours. You know, whatever, you just see the cutaway where it's like he takes the blast from a Seeker and then protects Ratchet. Like, that felt very anime-esque.
True, he did say Iwatashi wa Impactor Des. I kind of forgot about that. It made me kind of made me a little sad.
Nani?
That's right.
Let's get to but like it's pretty cool that like we finally have a show that's like this. It's a very interesting take on Transformers. It takes a little bit of everything from previous Transformers incarnations. It also gives classic characters a unique spin. Like I said, with Red Alert no longer being like a security officer, he's now a medic. I thought that was cool. Seeing characters get their first debut appearances, like Barricade, even though he didn't really do a lot, the fact he was there is like, okay, we know he's from 2007. We also know he was a Micromaster, but now he's just like this, the Prowl cop clone, basically. And I thought that was neat. Seeing Sinister show up and kind of do nothing, but also just still show up was kind of cool. Skytread showing up and kind of doing a little bit was neat. Sound Blaster's first U.S. appearance was always a delight. Fucking love him. Want more of that, please. Trying to think of more. Cog's first U.S. debut was pretty neat for a cartoon. It's just like, there are a lot of moments in the show where you can appreciate it, but you also have to understand it's not going to be exactly how every cartoon is. So, my recommendation, go in with an open mind, detach yourself from the Transformers lore and what you knew, and keep your expectations kind of low. Like, still have hope for it, but just keep them low, because a lot of what you expect happens may or may not happen.
The point is that I can definitely pick apart problems in different movies, but was I still entertained? Because let's say, for example, I could pick apart Venom all I want, but was I still entertained by that movie? Yep. So, you know, I don't overall hate it. Yeah. And I know that's not the best comparison, but if it still entertains me, then it's not that big of a deal for me. I find the show fine as entertainment. It's good, or just perfectly okay. God, I'm not picking the right words. It's just okay, is what I'm saying. I like the toy line. I actually like the fact that they look like the toys, because these are definitely based on the toys themselves. Because Generations didn't really need a show, and they just gave it to them. You know, because another good thing is it also distanced itself from the Prime Wars trilogy, where yes, they do make those updates, or they do their own characters and stuff like that. But this one is just, these are straight up those toys, and it makes it feel like you have those actual characters. It's not like Cyberverse Bumblebee, where, you know, obviously the character design was first, and when you buy the toy, it doesn't feel like Bumblebee sometimes. But my Jetfire straight up feels like that Jetfire, that Siege Jetfire.
Yeah.
And I like that, because I started off in Transformers Cybertron, which pretty much did the same thing.
I did not know that about you.
That I'm stupid. I heard you say it. I heard you called me stupid. I heard it. You all heard it.
If we're staying real here for a minute, I genuinely didn't know you actually started with Transformers Cybertron, though. That's interesting.
Well, technically, I started getting into Transformers during Cybertron. I've watched shows before it. If you want to get technical, I started in Beast Wars.
Okay. It's funny that you're mentioning this, because before the stream I mentioned the exact same thing, like to Michael, that because about a week ago I actually rewatched Transformers Cybertron, because that was a show that I actually paid attention and watched, but it wasn't like the first show. It was like reruns of Beast Wars and Armada I knew Transformers, but same with the Transformers Cybertron's a show I watched first.
Cybertron honestly is cheesy as hell, but it's not really that bad. Not as bad as I thought it was. Like, thinking about it.
It has
Because
its
after a
moments.
while, you start to think, oh, was it really that good? Oh, there was a lot of problems. But I watched back at it, and I was like, yeah, it's fine.
I enjoyed it. I mean, I enjoyed the Unicron trilogy as a whole. Obviously, Armada being my favorite because that was my
I find
G1.
Transformers Cybertron technically isn't it. It shouldn't be part of the trilogy. We in the U.S. made it part of it, but in Japan it's a
No, we were supposed to get like something called Transformers Supercross, which would have been pretty fucking sick based on the concept I was reading. It was going to be like the first multiversal Transformers show where it's like we had all these characters join up from different universes. Like we were going to have the Autobot brothers join up with like Hotshot and all kinds of. Would have been fucking cool. I'd look into it. It was an interesting read. I had a friend of mine on Instagram.
You tell me that, I can see where Cybertron gets its inspiration.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Cybertron was going to be that alternate universe where everything comes into play.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it definitely did not feel like a proper sequel because it's like in the Japanese dub Galaxy Force, it was kind of its own thing, but here it's like, the black hole that's in Galaxy Force, yeah, that's the aftermath of Unicron. When that never happened in Armada, he was just kind of a dead body, but then it happens here because he died the second time. I don't fucking know. If you pick
Armada, I find the most boring. Energon is just there, I guess, and then Cybertron I like the most.
Energon's the most boring, or Armada's the most boring.
Everyone talks real slowly, and it's just a lot of stuff just doesn't happen.
I try watching Energon like many times, but I just can't get into it. Like because both Cybertron and Energon try to do the humans are 2D, but the robots are 3D. But the Energon 3D is a lot more atrocious than Cybertron's is. I can't stomach that.
At least Cybertron, the designs actually look pretty badass as opposed to the Energon ones where it's like chunky bots with vehicle parts hanging off them.
I didn't think I would like Beast Wars when I rewatched it. I thought I was going to hate that show. I thought it was going to be too cheesy, too like obviously it's early CGI, so it's not going to look that great. But because I've seen so many animated shows and movies nowadays, I thought, oh, this is going to look tragic by comparison. I'm not going to get into it. No, I was into it. Not so much for the CGI, but for the story and the characters, it's actually pretty decent.
Yeah, and which is impressive at the time of release of that show, because at the time the only other main 3D full 3D show was Reboot, which looked like in comparison kind of the same, but Reboot kind of looked a little uglier. So to have a full 3D show, which you could just sold that there, and write a good story when you just sell it as the first fully 3D Transformers show, but also be like, yeah, the 3D, but we also write some fucking good stories. That's
a lot of the people that worked on that, I believe, also worked on X-Men.
Oh yeah, and X-Men has also actually great stories too. So it's good. It's nice to have that. It's like that. That's why Beast Wars is a juggernaut in the franchise as it is now.
Yep.
That's why I'm so glad that I rewatched everything because I am so excited for Kingdom. They're doing the Black Arachnia. Obviously, if you could tell from the box art, if they do a Silverbolt, I am so on board for that.
I mean,
watch Beast Wars because I think we're getting. I'm starting to believe that the 2022 film for the Transformers actually is going to get to be the Beast Wars one. And if that is the case, we'll rewatch Beast Wars for that.
Yep. But do you think it's actually going to be like Beast Wars, or are they just going to have actual giant animals in the city?
Because it's as much as I would love to have it as much as source material as possible, I don't think that they would be willing to do that. They have to have some human audience relator, and so it'll probably be in the middle of Los Angeles. Chris Pratt has to help Optimus Primal and Cheetor hide as animals in the middle of the city.
And he has to tame Dinobot because he's a raptor.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. So It's as much as I would want it to be, no humans, just just literally a monkey and a gorilla doing a fist fight with a spider in the middle of the jungle. I don't think it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Who knows? Really, who knows?
But that is also telling of how popular Beast Wars had gotten. People keep telling me, "Oh, Transformers died after Action Masters, and it didn't get picked up until the movies." Then why do people remember Beast Wars?
Yeah, Beast Wars for sure is like that's the Transformers' second renaissance. Like it's because Beast Wars goes on for a few seasons.
It was like
machines happen. It's for sure. And
it was like what 2007 did for the 1990s, because while we did have Transformers Armada, not Armada. While we did have Transformers animated, there was a little bit of a brief pause with the 2007 movie, or actually a little bit of Cybertron, and then like I think a year or year and a half later, we actually got heard of our first like Transformers live action movie. We didn't have anything. Like we might have had a little bit more of animated, like animated season 2.
No, I think we had the first teaser for the Transformers movie as Cybertron was still going on.
Yeah, Cybertron was going on.
Yeah, that's
Came out, and then animated came out.
Right, that's what it was. But still, it's like it was another
the franchise in the full gear. Like everyone's
like,
oh my.
That was like another like that's basically what I was trying to say. Like Beast Wars revitalized the franchise back then. 2007 movie revitalized the Transformers till now.
Yes,
and it's still like kicking on strong. Like we're going on 35 years.
Yeah, I'm actually I'm
36 years technically.
Like from 2007 to now, it's I'm surprised. Like honestly, I thought around 2017 it was going to be like it's time for that slowdown, and it's going to be like that for a good couple of years. But no, thanks to Bumblebee and Cyberverse, Transformers is still kind of like slowly coming back again, even though like it never really died. And it's pretty impressive.
It's actually kind of good that Bumblebee came out at that time, because with the last night, they were canceling a whole bunch of other films. Yeah. The reason why they didn't cancel Bumblebee is because they were already in production.
Exactly. Like they practically filmed most of it, and luckily when they showed off the pre-screening, they're just like, hey, like people like the movie, but we don't want it to be associated with the movieverse. We gotta do some reshoots to try this. You mind putting in a Cybertron scene in like the beginning? Because like if you look at the concept arts for that movie, like the concept art for Bumblebee happened in 2017 March. So Transformers the last night wasn't even out yet, and they were drawing concept art for Bumblebee. But then the concept art for the Cybertron scene was like a year and a half later, around 2000.
Because they got the green light to do that scene. They wanted
exactly right. And they also mentioned that, like all the characters in the Cybertron scene are built over the CG model for Bumblebee, Shatter, and Optimus, because they did have a G1 Optimus from the beginning. So luckily, because they had those three characters, they were able to build like Wheeljack, Brawn.
Yeah, because Shockwave was based around Optimus Prime. Obviously, the Seekers are big. That's why I think they wanted to do the scene, and what got them over the edge of actually getting green light to do it is because of Blitzwing. Yes. I think Blitzwing was initially, the idea behind him was they wanted to do the Seekers early on, but they weren't sure if they could do it, so they put in Blitzwing to make it easier for them to make the choice.
And because God, thank God, because like I mean, there are some things I wish we could have seen through deleted scenes if we did have that prequel cut of like, you know, because there was supposed to be a Megatron scene where he's frozen still, like in the movie, but it's still G1-ish. Kind of wish we saw that, but I'm kind of also now I'm glad we don't, because now we can, when we do get Bumblebee 2, they can just be like, oh no, like the Decepticons followed us to Earth and Megatron's here, and he's, oh God, like we're totally screwed, and we can have like it's gonna be weird because it's gonna be like, you know, G1 Transformers. Like the only things like this kind of stuck with that Bumblebee 2 toy line is gonna be, again, it's the G1 versions of characters but slightly different. We're gonna get, you know, another G1 Soundwave, a G1 looking Shockwave, and which is gonna be kind of sucks for the toys because we're gonna get these guys. I feel like
because they're gonna have free roam, they're gonna change up the designs a little bit. It's not gonna be a complete overhaul, but I feel like they're gonna do something with Soundwave and Shockwave, because
at least they should at least like I don't, you know, if they do like Ironhide and Ratchet like they did in Bumblebee, also they're not gonna be a plain literally a plain basic face with like not even a mouth really. Like if they're gonna show up and they're gonna have bigger roles, they're gonna have a different face.
Well, that's assuming if they have bigger roles too.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Yeah, because it took them how long for them to finally be introduced in the studio series? Like the characters like Optimus, Bumblebee, Dropkick,
Blitzwing.
Shatter, and then also Cliffjumper and Blitzwing. So I mean,
That's what's so good about studio series coming around now is that yes, we had some characters that were obviously rushed. We had some toys that were just coming out and around the time the movie was coming out. But then because studio series is ongoing, they could take their time, and so we got better toys. You compare the first Dropkick, which isn't that bad, but it doesn't look like Dropkick, the first Bumblebee, and the first Shatter, and you compare that to the second Shatter, the second Dropkick, Off-Road Bumblebee, Cliffjumper, Optimus Prime, Blitzwing.
yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. So, actually, before stream, I was also mentioning that I'm not a fan of Studio Series Bumblebee, the Volkswagen. There's obviously it's a bunch of clutter in the back, and he has the door wings, which is it was concept art that their plan was still kind of happening to use the door wings, but it was obviously a quick decision near the production.
It's not fun to transform for me, but yeah.
Yeah, it's just the Off-Road Bumblebee for sure is a superior Bumblebee.
I'm posting that review. I think not this. Well, I guess for you technically not today, but next week.
I still need to do the review on that whole wave along with the rest of Studio Series, but I want to take a
I've
break.
got Off-Road Bumblebee, and then I've got Roadbuster coming out the following week.
I picked up Shatter, and she's it's her silhouette, like her alone is like, yeah, that's the Shatter from the movie.
Yeah, Jet Shatter is such a blessing.
The only reason why I didn't pick up the Jet Shatter is because the other two figures I could get on clearance, and I thought, okay, I could get Shatter later.
Yeah, see,
I have no problem paying full price for that one.
See, that's one thing. Like, but if we didn't do this live stream, I was actually going to pick up Off-Road Bumblebee, or at least try to today because of the Target sale is still going on. It's over now.
About that,
it's fine. No, it's fine. It's fine. Like, it's literally, I can. Like, I'm surprised that Walmart still sells them a little cheaper. Like, they're like still like 18 something at Walmart. Like, was it Walmart still sell the Voyagers at 26 something? Like, I'm surprised it wasn't changed.
I am so pissed off that we don't have Targets anymore. I'm seeing so many people find all these new Transformers for clearance or better price. The twin pack for Pounds and Wingspan were found for $14.
Ooh,
damn. Oh, that's actually you're right. Because I saw that there were like 7 of these things on the end cap. And I'm like, oh yeah.
I haven't seen that yet. I think I've only seen Skywarp and Thundercracker, and that was by chance because I had to jump on that shit because people were buying that pack like the moment it was released at my local Target, and like I called and it's like, oh, we only have one left. I'm like, well, what do you recommend I do? It's like, why don't you just do it for like online pickup? I'm like, oh, yeah, I guess I could do that, couldn't I? Snagged my copy, thankfully, but I have not seen the clones, and I've also been debating. It's like, do I really want these? They're Takara repaints, and they do kind of look good, but I already have the Titans Return ones, so I don't know.
Also, I probably like just end the stream here. We can just keep talking, but like, I think we have totally passed on Siege here, and now we're just
well, I do have to head out soon because I got to film the video.
Oh yeah, I do work tomorrow, and then
I can't sleep. I don't really have anything to do. I mean, I could work on a review right now, but it's too late, and I really don't want to.
Might throw in my quick seconds of like my overall thing for Siege. It was okay. FG DeSanto did a better job compared to what he tried doing with Machinima. It had its moments. A lot of characters I enjoyed, the Decepticons. A lot of characters could have done better and were kind of bland, the Autobots. And I think it was. I can't wait for them to see they do this and seeing what people like and dislike. They'll use that for Earthrise, and we'll see some. Who knows what crazy stuff will happen next season? But this one was okay.
It was definitely.
I feel like this was okay. I feel like it takes a lot from previous storylines because this is a build-up to the other series. So I am curious what they'll do with Earthrise and Kingdom. I feel like those could be better than this. Mm-hmm. But I don't think it was that bad. Some things I think they should have done better, but I think some people are just looking for problems at this point and can't be satisfied with anything. And not everyone. I know there are problems and there are legitimate reasons why people don't like it, but a lot of the problems I've also seen are like, is that really that big of an issue, or are you just looking for an issue, you know?
Yeah.
With, I think it was Jobby or Thew, I can't remember who said it. I think it was Thew, but YouTube is now, hey, this thing is bad, and let me tell you about it, and you have to agree.
Sounds accurate enough.
That's just what YouTube has been now, and because I mean, you look at all these videos and everyone does it, especially with Star Wars. So
Yeah.
again, if you don't like Star Wars, that's fine, but it just seems like that's now become such a popular thing to do regarding videos that just everyone does it for anything now. Not everything has its problems.
Yeah.
But it just feels like a lot of it starts to get elevated from YouTubers saying, look at this, it's stupid, and I'm going to point it out, and that's the only thing I'm going to do here. It's like, okay, could you say something good about it? Why do that when I can talk about bad things? And it's like,
yeah, I definitely think when it comes to the overall perception of what is good and what is bad with certain things, a lot of people tend to focus on the negative and decide to nitpick and critique the hell out of it like they could do better, when they kind of forget this is just supposed to be mindless entertainment. This is something you're just supposed to turn your brain off for and enjoy.
And with
like, I'm not saying that
with Transformers, a lot of the problems that we've had with the recent series, Siege really that bad compared to it, honestly?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
a lot better than the Prime Wars trilogy.
With this technically being it's a spiritual successor to the Prime Wars, it is for sure there are multiple steps above compared to that trilogy.
It's definitely made its mark, and it showed that it has transcended into something better.
Transform.
And while this is just like the first thing of a trilogy, once again, and a lot of people were very like, well, what if it's everything like the Prime Wars trilogy? We're getting another web show. It might suck, blah, blah, blah. Once again, I point out, because I've been praising Rooster Teeth so much, they know how to do a fucking show. And for their first take on Transformers, my personal opinion, no one has to agree with me, and that's fine. I think they did a really good job. Yeah, it was kind of like
everything that Rooster Teeth has been putting out, especially with recent. But here's the thing: people already said that was going to be bad as it was coming out, and it's not just on the trailers or anything. It's just it doesn't have Peter Cullen. It's coming out from Prime Wars, and Prime Wars was bad, so this show's going to be bad. And it's like, okay, you're not basing that opinion on the show itself. You're just nitpicking things that it doesn't have.
Yeah.
Or things around it that's not
if you're going back, but it was still bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think when it comes down to it, if you give it a chance,
look at the show as the show, not what it doesn't have, or shows around it, or what came out beforehand. Because this isn't that. It's not related to Prime Wars. I don't know why people compare it to Prime Wars.
I think when it comes down to it, if you're going to mark something bad by association of a franchise because of a previous bad installment of cartoons or whatever, then you're not exactly giving what the future has a fair chance. Like I said, with Transformers...
That's my thing about the whole Peter Cullen thing. You're not giving the future a fair chance because you're looking for one thing, and because you don't have it, and you're not going to have it, everything is bad.
Yeah.
That's like a I don't want to say small-minded thing, but that's like...
No, I wouldn't say small-minded. I would say close-minded.
Close-minded, yeah. And if you don't like the fact that Peter Cullen isn't in the show, that's fine. Or if you don't like the new voice, that's fine. But you also, at some point, need to realize Peter Cullen's not going to voice Optimus Prime forever. And I've seen people say that if it doesn't have Peter Cullen, I don't like it. Well, then I guess you don't like the future of Transformers. It's not going to be that fun for you.
And this goes without saying, like, this goes without saying the whole typical standard, oh, you're a fake Transformers fan, you're not a true Transformers fan. The thing with Transformers is there has been so many retellings of the same old story with multiple different styles and twists and approaches to it that a lot of people fail to realize that this franchise itself changes. And when push comes to shove, to quote the words of Transformers Prime RC from Season 3, if you don't adapt, you rust. So it's more of a fact of
Nerd.
be mindful for the future, but still respect the past. But don't hold on to it. Because your childhood is done. If you're growing up with it now, this is your childhood. It may not be the best, but at least it's something. That's where I get so fed up with people who decide to be like these complete franchise elitists thinking like, this is the best incarnation and here's why. Anything else that happens later on is shit. It's like, get the fuck out of that mentality. Stop spreading your nonsensical toxicity among this fandom.
And
If
here's
you don't like it, hold on.
that people make the comparison of, like, let's say, just for example, Transformers Prime RC is the best version of RC, and we're not going to get anything better after that. Well, okay, but that's not the first RC. So at what point did you think, because all we had was the G1 RC, obviously, at what point did you realize that Transformers Prime RC is going to be the best? And then now from then on, is nothing else good or ever going to compare?
Yeah.
You know, because that doesn't necessarily make sense.
Yeah. But like I was saying, like if you're just gonna have this mentality of like everything that happens in the future because what you hold on to is shit, or because what you hold on to is better and then other stuff is shit, get rid of that nonsensical technology. Fuck, I can't talk now. I was on a roll and it just cut out. Get rid of that nonsense.
Transformers, that's fine. That's your thing. But then if you're all you're going to do is complain about the future stuff, if you're not willing to even open up to it, you know, there's one thing if you just don't want to associate or don't like it, but if you're not going to open up to it and you're going to pretty much tell everyone that they shouldn't open up to it, then maybe you should just stick to what you like then, because obviously what's going on right now isn't working for you. Transformers, the best part about it is it's going through 35 years now and has had so many different continuities to it. It has been going on for so long that it has different stories and different tales that you can enjoy. It's not just stuck to one. And that opens it up for other people to enjoy it as well. Not just, you know, people who are into G1, because it just opens it up for other people too. And again, you don't have to like animated, Prime, Cyberverse, Siege, or whatever. But not everyone has to like G1. So I don't know.
But to put it in less civilized, nice terms, for me personally, just because I'm fed up with this ongoing issue, even though it is part of the fandom, and I respect that. If you're going to hold on to the past so much to make it feel like it's the most elite thing that is yours and make everyone feel like, oh, this is shit, or not even have any potential hope for something better in the future, keep your nonsensical toxicity to yourself. The franchise is thriving. The fans obviously are very diverse about their opinions. And if this is not for you, do not end up spreading all this unnecessary hate and bad talk about something you don't like. Keep your mouth shut.
I don't want to say people have their opinion. But
I mean, you can have your opinion, but in a way of like where they constantly have to make everyone else feel bad about liking it, or if someone else likes it, or if they're just like constantly bashing anything else that comes out after something that they truly like, that they think is the best. It's a bit much, in my personal opinion. That's where I say respectfully, keep it to yourself. Express your opinion, but do so in a civilized manner. Don't treat it like what you say goes and no one else can oppose you. It's like Brian personally just said, after stealing my thunder, basically, but you did say something so elegant and so beautiful, and I couldn't have said it better myself. Transformers has been going on for 35 years. There are plenty of stories out there for you to pick and choose from. If you have a specific preference that you think fits your needs or your overall, overall preferences, your overall outlook on what you want, then go for that. Siege is not going to be for everyone. Prime's not going to be for everyone, but they exist. So let them exist and let people enjoy them for what they are. I personally recommend Siege. I had a blast waiting until like 3 a.m. to watch it. And I do plan on doing a rewatch with my girlfriend, Rebecca, aka TF Addictress. So that'll be a lot of fun. But I enjoyed the show for what it was. I like the dark, gritty take that they were going for. I think the characters, despite the poor voice acting direction, I think they were portrayed pretty well. Shockwave is Shockwave, Soundwave is Soundwave. The Autobots were the Autobots, even if they were a little naive and kind of dumb. But it's just entertainment. It's not meant to be critiqued like it's a piece of art. It's just mindless entertainment, and you're just supposed to have fun with it.
I think we got the point like half an hour ago. I'm sorry, this is taking a long time. I got to film still. I'm pretty sure Cyborg needs to get.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry if I'm keeping you guys hostage. It's not my intention whatsoever. But yeah, so I definitely recommend Siege. I had a lot of fun with it. I think you guys should check it out. If you don't have Netflix, I mean, I would obviously say support the official release, but if you can watch it anywhere, give it a shot. But try to watch it on Netflix.
I just say try it. Try it with an open mind. You know.
Yeah.
If you feel critical about it, that's fine. But just don't
Just don't put people down or don't put it down.
If you go into it expect something bad, then you are obviously not going to like it.
Yeah, I mean, I would personally say keep your expectations low, but not like dirt low. Like just go in there thinking it's not going to be the best, but it could be good. Because that's basically what you have to do. Anyway,
I say people should watch it and nitpick everything about it, and then argue with everyone that disagrees with you.
And get mad.
Cyborg Raptor, ladies and gentlemen. That's how the war started. That's how the war.
Drama in the forums.
Yeah.
That's how the war for Siege or the war about Siege started.
War for Cybertron?
Anyway, we've been going on for a little while. It's been a blast talking about this. I apologize to anyone out there who felt like I was kind of cruel towards you, but if I'm getting comments about like, oh, where are the cameras? What's this? I have to watch the I get it, but like at the same time, it's preference. So this will not be the first TFTC that's coming back. We will be doing more. I look forward to showing more TFTC. I'm so glad that this exists and there's actually a lot more to it. I'll turn my never mind. But I do plan on doing more content. There are going to be a lot more video reviews. Everyone's having fun with their cameras.
I'm so sweaty. I'm in Arizona and it's like midnight and it's still like 100 degrees. I'm so sweaty.
Oh god, it's warm out here too.
Oh, dude, I cannot deal with 100 degrees weather right now. But
oh god, I'm so moist.
There we go. Camera's not centered. Anyway. So hi, we're all here. Maybe we'll do this. Moist. I know my camera's laggy. I hate it.
Hey Michael, stay moist.
Yeah.
Stay moist.
Oh. Anyway, we will be doing more TFTC as time goes on. I hope that everyone enjoyed this one. It may not have been the best, but I do hope you guys enjoyed Siege. I hope you enjoyed this. Feel free to become part of the conversation down in the comment section down below. Share your thoughts on Siege. Feel free to engage with me, Cyborg. Whoever else wants to comment, all are welcome. Just keep it appropriate.
Apparently, I'm not even here.
Okay. Well, I mean, you're not a channel admin, so that's why I was saying. That's all. Because, like, Cyborg and I see the comments. I don't know.
Yeah. Nice shirt
nice
you're wearing. Wonder who made the logo.
Yeah. I got merch now. It's a thing, I guess. Anyway, kind of wanted to plug that in. But yeah, so stay tuned for more. I do plan on doing more video reviews. I have a video review for the Cyberverse the Bumblebee Cyberverse Adventures Repugnance Revenge Pack. That'll probably be out tomorrow afternoon. Huge thank you to all the feedback that I've gotten on my most recent videos. You guys have been phenomenal. Huge shout out to Cybertron.com for getting me back on the site. I love when that happens. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. So let's just go ahead and sign out. Brian, go ahead. I understood that language.
Hello, I am Brian from TFTC. You could follow me on YouTube and Dailymotion and Facebook and Twitter. My main Facebook page is going to turn 10 years old soon.
Hey, a whole decade.
August 18th.
Nice.
Anyways, yeah. Stay tuned for content because I do content. Hi, Infernicus. That is one of the best YouTubers out there. Is Infernicus right there?
Hello,
Right?
Infernicus.
Oh, the Infernicus from last
The
night.
Infernicus.
So-
Yep.
Loved you in last night. Shamed you died.
Yeah, too bad you didn't have a lot of screen time.
Yeah.
You deserve more.
Your toy
Yeah.
Your toy was terrible.
We need a Studio Series 1.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that you came with that transparent object that's not a character because it's a
Yeah,
plot.
thank you for giving us more questions than answers.
Yeah. You are the Optimus Prime. I made you. God Steel Stick. That's her
Go
character
fetch.
mark.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah. So my channels, I have YouTube. Bye.
Cyborg, my friend.
Hello, I am my name is Cybergraptor, also or just Matt. I do voice work. I have a couple projects coming up soon. I don't know if I'm even allowed to say what yet. And yeah, and I'm also pretty much like co-admin of this channel, and most of the time when we do these podcasts, I'm right next to Michael. So yeah.
Go watch Cyborg Raptor as he goes behind the scenes of the last night. The one time.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, he's not entirely wrong. I do have a video on this channel of me
Where
at
you met the great Infernicus.
Yeah, that Junkyard video was still really great. It introduced me to one of my favorite songs, which is now copyrighted because, of course, it fucking is.
Going there right now would be terrifying because it's hot as fuck. But going would be
Wouldn't
great.
even imagine that.
They had a big billboard saying the junkyard from the last night. It's right here. Go. But now it's the billboard's like Wendy's.
Yes. I mean, sad, but yes, because I fucking love Wendy's. Anyway,
Of course, Michael's more excited for Wendy's than the last night.
what can I say? I am a man of few preferences.
Also, they probably like, oh shit, like, the last night didn't make any money. Shit,
I imagine
anything. Wendy's fine.
I imagine a whole crowd going to that junkyard, and when they see the sign, they're like, "Ah!" And then after that, you hear Michael go, "Yes!"
You know what?
I mean, yeah.
You know what the admission fee to go inside the junkyard is?
I don't think I ever asked you about that, but how much?
It's $2. It's $2 to get in there.
Hmm.
Like you not like it has to be like $2 physical.
Why?
Oh, not imaginary $2.
That's kind of strange.
I mean, like, you can't like use card or anything. They're like they're low key. They're like, we're just a junkyard. Just hand us $2 and you can get in there.
Man, they refuse to grow up and adapt. That sucks. Oh, whatever. $2 ain't bad. Not good, but it's not bad.
I think it's funny that like it's now pretty much it's a scene in the movie and of a fan base that people like know about. But like, you want to go in there? Yeah, it's just $2.
It's not even most of their favorite movie.
Yeah, no, yeah, seriously.
Yeah. Don't know how it would feel having a reputation about a location that was in the movie, but one of the worst movies.
Over here is where they filmed the worst Transformers movie.
Look, Mom, this is where they filmed when Mark Wahlberg yelled at that black guy, and then they ran.
And Dinosaur.
And then, yeah, the dinosaur chewing the cop car. That
In
was
the garbage truck transformer.
And Girl that has nothing to do with movie shows.
Yeah, and I don't know. Junk.
Yeah, that is the movie. I don't know. Junk.
The dad's there with the kid, and the mom's like, "Oh yeah, I remember that movie. That movie was shit."
And then the kid's like, "Mom, yeah."
Anyway, we should probably wrap it up. We're coming up with it was a good episode. It was a fun episode. I enjoyed it. But yeah, so
Michael.
Anyway, I guess it's my
ride.
Like I said, stay tuned for the next review. I will be doing that. I'm also going to be doing a 1986 Transformers, the movie Death of Optimus Prime, stop motion recreation, hopefully. I got a couple other projects coming out. They're not filmed or anything yet. They're just kind of in the beta testing phase right now, kind of pre-production. But when it comes to reviews, it's nice to be able to pump out this content once again. So I hope you guys are actually enjoying it. I'm sorry it's nothing but reviews right now, but I'll try to change that in the future.
Oh, I'm also glad Barricade showed up. I forgot to mention that.
Yeah, Barricade was cool, dude. He probably didn't do a lot. He was cool.
He was in the show. Whoopsie.
But yeah, huge thank you to all my patrons, Marvelous Prime, Lone Collector, and even though she's not a patron yet, I know she will be. My very lovely angel, Rebecca, TF Addictress 4891 on Instagram. I love you, sweetheart. If you end up watching this episode, if you don't, still love you. And also a huge thank you to everyone who's been buying my merch so far. I've made about 3 sales, and I'm hoping to keep making some more because I got a pretty sweet hoodie on the back burner, and I can't do it until I make 5 sales. So let's do that. Links will be in the description probably tomorrow morning. I'm not going to do it right now because I'm starting to doze off. But stay tuned for more content. Please subscribe so I can continue to transform your entertainment one video at a time. But with all that being said, that's pretty much it.
Forever.
What?
TFP Forever just showed up in the chat. Bye.
Oh, he's one of my Instagram followers too. Bye. Anyway, thank you all very much for tuning in. Sorry if I was hostile towards any of you in the live chat or if I wasn't acknowledging you. When we're on a topic, that's just kind of what stays as is. But feel free to join the conversation in the comment section down below. But with all that being said, this has been Transformers Thought Corner episode 74, The Return, and also Siege Review. I want to thank each and every one of you for watching. And please remember, especially during these times, stay happy, stay healthy, stay safe, and I will talk to you guys next time. So this is TFA 1024, the TF Addict, rolling out. Till all are one for now.